Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is going to be another episode of SNTR Gaming News, breaking down the endgame in Lost Ark. They released an official video on their YouTube channel. We want to take a look at it. We want to break down all the various sections very quickly. Right here at the beginning of the video, I do that for you, and we do it in a little bit of an intro segment. If you like live streams and you like these kinds of videos, remember to hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss these updates that we do, as well as that you don't miss our live streams. This is an SNTR update. Lost Ark Endgame has been detailed in a video on their channel, and we wanted to give you a very quick breakdown of everything that will be included and sort of how it all breaks down. If you like these quick SNTR updates, hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss the uploads, or check me out over on SNTR Gaming, where I streamed this live. So they break down into dungeons, raids, island strongholds, and those are sort of the headings that were used in the video that they uploaded. So they talked about chaos dungeons being one of the primary starting points for the gearing up process. So basically, once you're level 50, that post gearing up process, you're primarily going to be doing that in chaos dungeons. They're comprised of 3 separate stages, and each stage you need to beat a 5-minute timer in order to advance. So every stage has that little timer, and as long as you beat it, you are good to advance. Now, this drops base level gear for post level 50 gearing process, so this is kind of where you're going to set your sights once you're level 50. It also drops resources for upgrading that gear, and these chaos dungeons take about 5 to 10 minutes to finish, and they can be done twice a day. So once you hit level 50, this will be one of the primary things you're going to do to gear up. Then there are Guardian raids. These are described as being similar to Monster Hunt battles, sort of like Monhun battles. You are dropped in on a map. You have to search the various zones of that map for a boss, and you have to take out the boss before the timer expires. Now, these bosses go through phases, and they will take down your health very quickly if you're not paying attention, and their phases tend to change as you take down their health. You have to learn their telegraph attacks to time dodging, because you don't have everything that you typically have. This is basically a time trial boss clear, and it can be tough. They limit the number of revives your team get, as well as the consumables that you can use. This can also be done twice a day. It rewards accessories and drops upgrade materials that are not bound to your character, so you can take those upgrade materials, sell them, or send them to an alt. One of the reasons you're really going to want to focus on their telegraph attacks, again, is because they limit your revives and your materials, making it very difficult for you to win. If you're not paying attention and kind of brute forcing it, you'll end up running out of resources and revives very quickly. Then they have something you can do by yourself called the tower. You climb the floors of the tower, and it gets harder and harder. Each floor gives you an objective, and that is something that you do to clear that floor and then advance to the next floor. That gives you a reward, and then you kind of advance up. You get skill point potions rewarded from these solo runs in these towers, and those are needed to max out your skill tree after level 50. So you're going to want to make some runs at the tower right there. They ended at floor 15 in the footage if you were paying attention, and that is one of the things that you can do in order to continue to fill out that skill tree post level 50. Then there are Abyssal dungeons. These are harder endgame dungeons of the types that you faced when you were leveling up, and doing all of these activities, dungeons, raids, tower, they give you the gear, the mats, and accessories needed to sort of enjoy your endgame experience. Then there is Sailing and Stronghold. Sailing's unlocked around level 35, and your stronghold is basically an instance player housing where you can unlock upgrades in the laboratory, the manor, the expedition storage. You can unlock new recipes and blueprints as well. Then you can use the workshop, which is essentially their crafting system, to make potions, bombs, and anything else that you might need. Headquarter system is a sailing themed quest system where once you've unlocked sailing and you've unlocked the headquarter system, you can have these followers going and completing tasks for you, and then you're getting the resources from that. So that's a very quick flyover breakdown of Lost Ark Endgame. If you want to see gameplay coverage and breakdowns of this live when it releases, be sure to check out SNTR Gaming, where I do my live streams, talk shows, and discussions. And if you enjoy these quick updates over here on SNTR Updates, hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'll see the rest of you right now. Thank you so much for being here this morning. And I hope you guys enjoyed that very, very quick breakdown. I really thought it was a very, very helpful video to give people a quick glimpse into what Lost Ark's Endgame is going to look like. Is it going to be something where you're, are you primarily mining or crafting or whatever? It sounds like there's a pretty good loop of content that you can enjoy. Make sure you are on live chat. Make sure you have smashed the like button. And we're going to be asking the question just in chat, will you be playing Lost Ark when it launches? Will you be playing Lost Ark when it releases? And then we got a yes, and then we got a no, because we have a very, very slow start today. I'm wondering if this game is just off folks' radar until it officially launches. We covered this a couple of weeks ago when, I forget what exactly we covered. I'll have to go back and look. I believe there was something new. There was new gameplay or something. It was a gameplay breakdown. There was some gameplay news. They released sort of a gameplay, flyover of all the different things you'd be able to do in the game. And we had a lack of interest that day, and I thought maybe the end game would be a little bit more interesting for people to discuss and check out, given that this game is one of the games we planned to focus on and sort of niche down into. MMORPGs are something that I'm a little new to. I enjoyed my time with New World. Traditionally speaking, never really got into EverQuest or World of Warcraft, but I played Lost Ark when the beta was available. We had tons of support when we did that. We had tons of support from you guys as well as new people when we showed off that gameplay footage, and we really enjoyed our time with it. I actually thought I was going to fight. I was going to have to fight really, really hard to enjoy Lost Ark, and that was simply not the case. It was a very, very satisfying content loop, and the fact that they have an end game structured in a way where you can sort of do activities either in a group or you can do the tower by yourself. Then you can start to maybe invest in your stronghold. You can sort of think through the player instance housing, if you like. It's an MMO ARPG. Right. If you want to get super, super technical, that's the excuse me. That is the definition. MMORPG more as a colloquialism, sort of an ongoing RPG game where, you have your character and you have your activities and you're leveling your skills, and there's sort of that end game spiral content loop where you sort of spiral up. Theme park type MMO. Yes. Yeah. This game is the only one that makes me want to buy a gaming PC, says Veeder. I will say it does have controller support built in to the game. I don't think the combat in the late stages translates very well to controller. You've really got to make it work. Even myself in the early stages, I was like, man, oh man, this is just not going to work on a controller. That could mean that it comes to console later, since again, they already have baked in controller support. I would worry though that, if it landed on console, you'd have a lot of complaints from people just about, in general, the feel of the game when you get into some of those more challenging areas. There's a lot of things you have to drop down out of the sky, and dragging your mouse around and doing that, it tends to be, a little bit easier when you're on mouse and keyboard for that type of control scheme. What's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. There's also going to be more traditional raid fights that will be released later. There's a lot more to the end game in the Korean and Russian servers at the moment. One of the reasons we really wanted to invest in this game is we thought, my goodness, not only does it look amazing and it was very, it was very, very fun, but the game is already done very, very well in another market. So they've already got their gameplay, they've already got their content loop, they've already got their DLCs, expanded areas that, you know, they've been able to kind of find their way through. There's obviously concerns that people have about the microtransactions. Microtransactions in Asian markets tend to be structured very differently. You know, more opportunities, I think, for pay to win in those environments. I'm really liking this footage here that they have of this guy with this sword in the footage that we watched today. I did the artillerist, the gunner artillerist, and I really, really enjoyed it. Very, very much so. And, I mean, I guess we could leave this footage up just to kind of look at some of the gameplay and some of the... I think one of the more satisfying aspects of it is just when you get in these big, huge mobs like this and you're just sort of blasting your way through. I found it to be very, very satisfying with regard to that content loop. You know, you see so many different enemies and attacks, and you're doing that thing where the loop of your attacks is very, very satisfying if you're able to take out like large groups in one fell swoop. And right there was a good example of that. Just a really, really big crowd control slam, and then everybody's very, very low health. This big whoever is playing with this big sword, I may have to change my what I want to play with. I really enjoyed playing as a gunner. The Lost Ark classes, They feature a lot of different play styles, and this giant sword looks very, very enjoyable. I enjoyed my time with the gunner on the artillerist. There are some builds with the gunner that are pretty complicated where you're constantly switching your guns, and so I definitely enjoyed not having to worry about all of that. I thought the gunner was very, very fun. Plus, they have a great roadmap out recently. They will add MOBA, Mario Party Tower Defense, side-scroll mode content too. That's on Amazon. Yeah, the microtransactions are definitely going to be something that you'll have to kind of wait and see what Amazon officially decides to do. We know they're attempting to westernize the game. We over here in America, we treat video games very differently than they are treated. I actually saw a report this morning from the GDC, their planned conference in March, talking about how much has changed in the landscape. PC and PlayStation are just dominating, and mobile development has actually slipped, which is surprising that has happened. So they were breaking down all the various aspects of gaming that have changed, and PC gaming is just on a huge rise, and PlayStation also has a very good saturation in the market, but mobile gaming had slipped quite a bit in the last 8 years, or it was 5 years or something like that. They were measuring all the different things, and it's like, well, mobile gaming is a massive market, but I think the development for mobile games has shifted and maybe gone away a little bit. It's decreased, it seemed, because it's just probably a hard market to get into, I would imagine. If we get a couple more likes, we'll get our first 100 likes, guys. Thanks for being here. If you're enjoying the breakdown, Lost Ark Endgame was revealed in sort of a breakdown video on their official channel, and we are combing over it today, all the various aspects of it. Happy Gengar coming in with a brand new membership. Thank you for coming over. Happy Gengar, one of the people that seemingly didn't, for whatever reason, you didn't get the announcement that we moved over here in September. I remember I told you this the other day in our live stream over there on Split Screen, our larger channel. And we tried to get that video in front of as many people as we could. It did not do as well as we hoped that it would. I played Wild Rift on my phone all the time. Yeah, mobile gaming as far as the population is very healthy, but mobile gaming development has gone down quite a bit. And again, it could just be as simple as it just takes really, really, a special game and a special moment to have a successful mobile game launch. So it's free to play. There are founder packs that give items if you purchase them, but not required. Yeah, this game is totally free to play. And you can do the founder packs for sure. It's not pay to win, it's pay to progress faster. The only advantage is getting to the end faster. PvP is all leveled out, so no advantage for money bags. Now, is that true in our market, Silent Warrior, or are you saying in general the Korean version of this game does not sell advantages for PvP. That again was something that I was hearing murmurings of that being an issue for this game in particular, and I've not seen anything substantively said about it. I think there was just a lot of speculation that was the case. I love how big the bosses are in their animations. It really, I think, adds to the combat. Yeah, Lost Ark is 100% free to play. February 11th arriving in the Western market. So you'll be able to play February 11th totally free. You can do the Founders Packs. That's how I got into the beta. I did a Founders Pack, and that's how I got access. The pay-to-win discussions are always contentious, but personally, in the shop, you get at most like a 2% advantage in attack and like 10% in secondary stats. Free to play equals definitely going to check it out. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, we'd love to hear from you. Take the poll at the top of the chat. Is Lost Ark a game you're going to be checking out? It is PC only, but it will be free to play in just a matter of weeks. And I really enjoyed my time with the beta. We plan to cover and play this game quite a bit when it launches. We have been sort of niching down into MMOs, and this is an MMORPG, more specifically an MMOARPG. And I thought I was going to have to work to like the game. I've been telling people that over and over. It's like, I thought I was going to struggle. Oh, I'm muted in Discord. Apologies, Discord. I was muted. Yes, thanks for pinging me. If I'm ever muted in Discord, just let me know. Yeah, thank you, Barrier. And Fast Flex. I always forget to do that. I'm doing like 8 things before I go live to make sure everything goes smooth, and I forget that one all the time. I have a hotkey to undeafen, but it only works if I'm actually clicked on Discord. It's not a very effective hotkey, that's for sure. PvP is mostly balanced except for guild versus guild, which is not as you use your own gear. So Andrew's saying that PvP is mostly balanced, but when you do guild for guild, that's not balanced because you use your own gear. Okay. February 11th, that's before Elden Ring and Witch Queen. Game won't make it past the summer. For you, maybe. If you think this game is going to struggle because of Elden Ring and Witch Queen, I don't think you understand how popular this game is. I don't think you understand quite how much larger games like this are globally comparatively to games like Destiny. Like, Elden Ring will certainly do well globally, but Elden Ring's not an ongoing game. This game is not in any danger of losing its audience to a Destiny DLC or a From Software game. I don't necessarily think that is even a consideration. Would you really consider Lost Ark an MMO? It seems more like a hack-and-slash action RPG. Oh, see, it looks like that, doesn't it? But it is not. No, people in chat will enlighten you here. They'll tell you, no, it is not just a hack-and-slash RPG. It is actually quite complex, and if you consider all of the endgame structures that they've built, from the Guardian raids to the dungeons, it's actually very, very substantive. 2 Frickmas bags and a light roast to my man Baker. Thank you so much. Oh man, we have one of the labels I could print so you could get shipped today. We don't like to waste labels, but I'll have to wait. I'll have to do it when my wife comes down. I'll tell her like, hey, quickly, put the thing in there and we'll print to the other side. Like the labels, it's 2 per page for the coffee. First coffee order of the day. Thank you, Baker. You put the emotes in chat, so I thought, let me go check my email. He might be telling me he ordered some. Robert says the new continent that's planned that will be open PvP is a place where whales will have advantages. They are equalizing level, but not engravings or gems. Okay, so that's actually pretty significant. So they're going to be adding an open PvP continent to Lost Ark gameplay, and you're saying that microtransaction whales are going to have advantages because levels equalize, but not engravings and gems. Okay. Is Amazon competing with itself by releasing this game when they already have New World out, or are the 2 games different enough? They are quite a bit different, yes. I think that's actually a very good question. I think this game will make it to where New World is going to have to step their game up. We have basically decided to take a sabbatical from New World until they really bring the goods. Adding mutators to expeditions isn't going to bring me back. A couple of patch notes isn't going to bring me back. I need a better concept of like where you're going with the game. We need a roadmap. We need We need confidence in the game's future, and right now I don't know. I don't know if I'm all that confident in the game's future. Creature, could you do some that are just plain white? Because I wouldn't mind getting some split screen merch to wear on stream, and I think just straight white on black would look so dadgum clean. As opposed to the blue. I don't know if the blue would look as good. I'd have to get like a white shirt or something. I don't know. Maybe it would look good on black. The footage makes the game look better than I thought, but I think I'd only actually play if I had friends who wanted to do the PC cafe thing. Here they are called PC Bang. Oh, really? PC Bang. Yeah, the funny thing about Lost Ark gameplay is it hooked me a lot faster than I thought it would. I did not think I would enjoy it. I thought I was going to have to, like, work to enjoy the game, right? But I got into a couple of content loops of just, like, leveling, running through the map, blasting all these enemies. I got into some really fun combos. I'd, like, blast them back with a shotgun, drop some mortar on their head, and then I'd get out the chain gun, like that. Oh, man, I was really, really enjoying my time with the game well more than I anticipated. I thought I was going to be like a day to kind of figure it out, and then, okay, maybe I can do this, maybe I can't. Within probably the first hour, I felt like the content loop really, really hooked me, because we didn't even get into the Lost Ark Endgame. We didn't even get into the Endgame. Like, that's what this video is about. So what they're doing here is, if you're just tuning in, we're going through the Lost Ark Endgame breakdown. They broke down in this video dungeons, raids, your little island stronghold, crafting, sailing, everything. If you rewind to the beginning of this stream, I give like a 5-minute breakdown of their breakdown, because their video I think is like 9 minutes long. I give a 5-minute, too long, didn't read Cliff's Notes. This is on the official Lost Ark channel. I'm actually curious what the interest is like in this. 53,000 views on this video. So the interest after one day, it's good, but I think most people are waiting for the game to launch, really. Mithrak says, how'd you find the solo experience in Lost Ark to be? So there were elements and things when I was leveling up that I had to do by myself. There were elements that I had to do solo, and I found it to be very enjoyable. I thought it was very good. I liked the intensity. I thought it was very, very fun. I didn't feel like I was, getting trounced or getting, stun locked or any of those things. So I actually thought the solo experience was fun. Now, here's the thing you got to understand. If you try, all right, if you try to play games like this by yourself, I think you're going to quickly run into a wall, because as this video described, the Chaos Dungeons and the Guardian Raids. So if you're going to want to play a Lost Ark Guardian Raid, you're going to need people to be with, right? You're not necessarily, you're not necessarily going to be able to do much on your own, okay? Now, if you want to do a Chaos Dungeon, you'd probably be okay in the early stages. I'm saying this as a complete novice, but given that that's when you start the post-50 gearing process, you'd probably be okay in some of the earlier Chaos Dungeons. But the way that Guardian Raids were described and how hard it gets and how everything levels up, I don't know if you'd be able to be by yourself for very long. Story and cinematic story quests in later tiers is epic in every aspect. So Moonloop has played quite a bit, and Moonloop is saying that it gets very, very good later on. Clayrota Derp, is that it? Clayrota Derp. Do you think with Series X and PS5 now having native mouse and keyboard support that it would make it easier to port over to console? Well, there's a handful of reasons they could port this over to console, no problem. Number one, they have baked in controller support. So you don't even necessarily need to be like on a mouse and keyboard. You obviously would want to, yes, rebrand. You would obviously maybe want to. I think because mouse and keyboard helps a lot of the stuff, run a lot smoother. A lot of the attacks that you have to do, Yeah, I'd have to see the danger of that kind of a blue. I don't like wearing white. I could get the white hoodie, maybe. The white hoodie does look really nice. I could get the black t-shirt. I'm always a little nervous with the blue ink on a black shirt, though. It can look really bad, so I'd have to order one to see. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it looks bad on camera. Like sitting here in sort of a nice dark scene, it might not look right. I'll have to order some to figure out. Wouldn't be surprised if they make an announcement tomorrow. Wednesdays feel like that kind of day. Yeah, if you guys missed the split screen morning coffee this morning, my little morning coffee news brief for you, that video is about a potential Overwatch announcement this week. Timmy the Tat Man, Timmy Tenders, teasing an Overwatch stream. So make sure you guys are supporting those videos when they hit in the morning. They hit at 8 o'clock, an hour before we go live over here. So thanks so much for the people that, supported that video this morning with a comment, with a like, and with a view. We appreciate you very, very much. It looks like Gauntlet RPG. This genre of game should be called Gauntlet RPG. Why is that not a thing? Well, the reason you wouldn't want to call this Gauntlet RPG is because, all right, let me use my mouse here. This looks really simple and fun and exciting and, oh my gosh, just hack and slash. No, that is not the case at all. You need to direct your attention down here to the lower portion of the screen. I want you to look at the red bar, okay? The red bar is their health, and right here, there was just on screen. What in the world? Go back. Why is it not going back? Go back, you piece of garbage. The arrow keys are supposed to go back. Anyway, there. I'm just going to have to do it. Fine, I'll do it myself. Okay, so now if you look at that red bar, if you look beneath that red bar, what you see is QWERASDF. Okay, what you're looking at is 8 abilities all signed to different keys on the keyboard. Now, if you're not accustomed to this type of control scheme, this is going to be pretty overwhelming for you. I bound a bunch of my attacks to my Logitech G502. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 5 things bound to the side of my mouse. I think one of them was heal, like a potion, and the rest were attacks, like my 4 main attacks that I really liked, and then I had 4 more attacks that I would use on the keyboard. So instead of feeling like I'm playing the dadgum piano, I just had to do 4 keys on the keyboard. Now, there's also some abilities where you press a button and all those things change to something else, right? So you have quite a bit that you're doing. It's not quite as simple as, like, this guy's not just running in a room. He used Q, he used W, he used E, he used R, he used D, he just used S, he just used E again. Do you see what I'm saying? This guy is going in and just absolutely laying waste to the place. You have to pay attention to the cooldowns and the keys down at the bottom of the screen. So sure, it looks super cool, and it is super cool, and it is super satisfying, but it's not quite as simple as just a dungeon crawler RPG. There is a lot going on in this game that would make combat very challenging for you if you're not accustomed to this type of game, or maybe you're just not comfortable learning, because it's quite a bit. All I hear is keyboard binding Gauntlet RPG. Lost Ark is one of the few MMOs that kept gaining players after release rather than losing as most MMOs do. That alone says a lot. Plus, it's the #1 MMO in Korea at the moment. Yeah, I was telling my friend who is Korean, and I was saying to him, like, there's a big game coming out in February that I'm going to be playing that's like a huge hit. Excuse me, in Korea. So we're very excited to dive back into this game. I really, really enjoyed it. That's the same as ESO right now, 10 spell slots. It's not that difficult. I'm not trying to make the point that it's difficult, but there's a gigantic difference between playing ESO and an action-adventure game where you have like 3 or 4 attacks and like a couple of abilities. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're cycling through lots of different things in ESO, especially when you get into the later stages of the game. And so I would anticipate I would anticipate many people seeing this game and thinking, oh wow, this game looks amazing. This game is this game looks like a great dungeon crawler, and then they'll get it And they'll be kind of surprised that that's not really what it is. It's not a simple dungeon crawler. If you've been playing, like, I'll give you an example. If you've been playing Diablo 3 on your console with a controller, and you try and play Lost Ark gameplay with a controller, you're going to find yourself very, very confused. Like, it's not going to be nearly as simplistic, and a lot of the attacks don't flow well on a controller. It's quite a bit more challenging. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean you can't do it. I'm just letting people know ahead of time, like, listen, this is not as simple as you might think. This is not Diablo where you run in and you press a couple of buttons and you're good to go. It's a very, very in-depth game that, especially when you get into the later stages of combat, you need to really figure out the telegraph attacks of the enemies. You got to get out of the way of the damage. You got to manage your own resources and healing as well. Forget dungeons; they're just story parts of the game. It's a raid-focused game. So you say the Guardian raids are a bigger focus then, because the Chaos dungeons were described in the video as the primary starting point in the gearing up process. There's 3 separate stages to the Chaos dungeons, and each have to be beaten in before the 5-minute timer. They drop base level gear for your post level 50 gearing process. They also drop resources for upgrading that gear. They take about 5 to 10 minutes to finish, and they can be done twice a day. I would imagine that what that would mean is that you start with the Chaos dungeons, and then eventually you're just living in the raids, because the raids are the upper level difficulty, upper level resources and gear. Am I right in assuming that once you hit 50, you're going to spend some time in the Chaos dungeons, but eventually it's gonna like slide over and get lopsided, and you're mostly going to be doing, you're saying Abyssal raids and Hell mode raids. Guardian raids are just for mats and gear starters. So at what point do you just slide over into nothing but Abyssal raids and Hell mode raids? Like, obviously the content loop of the Chaos dungeons and the Guardian raids is there for a reason, as well as what he described as like the tower that you can do to go up by yourself and get materials over and over, not over and over again, twice a day, and you can get as high on the in the tower as you can make it. Guardian raids and Chaos dungeons are for mats for enchanting. See, what you're saying is not what was said in the video. What was said in the video is that Chaos dungeons drop base level gear for your post level 50 gearing process, as well as resources for upgrading. Guardian raids were described as being similar to Monhun battles, where you're dropped on a map, you search the zones for the boss, you take it out before the timer expires. They go through phases as you take down their health. You got to learn their telegraph attacks the time you're dodging. It's a trial boss clear. It can be tough. It limits the number of revives and consumables, can be done twice a day. It rewards accessories and upgrade mats that are not bound to your character. So it does sound like that is true for Guardian raids, that they don't drop loot. They're mainly dropping materials. But this video indicated that Chaos dungeons drop base level gear for your post level 50 gearing process. So it again, it sounds like you're washing over the whole endgame and being like, yeah, you don't do any of that. You just do Abyssal raids and Hell mode raids, which is probably true after a point, but I don't know if that's true the entire time in your post 50 experience. I'm assuming you would spend some time in Chaos dungeons and Guardian raids. Eventually, you will use them for enchantment materials after you've progressed past them. That's what he just said, base level gear and upgrade mats. No, he said that it's for, gear starters. Oh, that's what you said. I misread that. Guardian raids are for mats and gear starters. Well, this guy said Chaos dungeons. He said Guardian raids and Chaos dungeons are for mats for enchanting. No, that's not what he said. You do all of them, says Moonloop. We need to keep in mind that the game will be adjusted significantly for North America. Well, I don't know how much they're going to... You think they're going to change the end game that much? Oh, man. Rageous Roast is hitting today, man. That light roast is so good. I've gone fully back to light roast. That's my jam these mornings. You still do Chaos dungeons even if you have all your endgame gear, says Moonloop. Okay, so you still do Chaos Dungeons even if you have all of your endgame gear. Got it. Well, I'm assuming once you have all your endgame gear, you'd be doing a lot of this stuff for the materials, right? If you're just tuning in and you haven't taken the poll at the top of the chat yet, will you be playing Lost Ark when it releases? We are doing a Lost Ark Endgame breakdown, looking at a video that was uploaded to the Lost Ark YouTube channel and outlining all the various aspects of it, from the Chaos Dungeons to the Guardian Raids, Abyssal Dungeons, sailing, your strongholds. Chaos Dungeons or Guardian Raids equal, you get your base gear and accessories for that eye level tier and enchant mats. You do Chaos for skill enchantment after a certain point. Okay. Would you say that they do a good job maintaining endgame content loop relevancy, or do you get to a point where you feel like the endgame content loop gets really narrow? What I mean is, a lot of the times in games, they're like, hey, welcome to the end game. You have activities A, B, and C. But the more you play, the more you leave behind A and B, and all you do is C over and over and over again. So the end game content loop gets narrow and annoying and dull. Do they do a good job in this game of maintaining the end game content loop dynamic feel, that you're not constantly doing the literal one activity over and over and over and over again? Just curious, thought this game will only release mid-February. It will be releasing mid-February for free, February the 11th. This video that we're looking at right here is an endgame breakdown that they put on their official Lost Ark YouTube channel. So if you're tuning in today, I did a breakdown at the beginning of this stream. It's about a 5-minute long breakdown walking through the details of Chaos Dungeons, Guardian Raids, Abyssal Raids, strongholds, crafting, things like that. And now we're just sort of watching the footage on loop and just having a conversation about the game and what to expect from its endgame content loop. A lot of people are watching the gameplay, and I think mistakenly, and I'm trying to warn people, this is not a simple dungeon crawler action game. It's a very involved MMORPG, well, ARPG, but you get the point, right? Like, it's a pretty involved game. Thought you were streaming live gameplay. No, my hands are up here. Yeah, if I'm streaming gameplay, we will have game sound on, and I'll be sitting a little bit differently because I'll be up at the keyboard and the mouse. I actually have lots of gameplay of this game on this channel. When the beta came out, I think we streamed it 4 or 5 times, and we had lots of support. So if you are enjoying the show, I am a safe for work broadcaster, and I am live Monday through Friday. Typically, we are in this scene here just doing a talk show. Obviously, gameplay takes place. We checked out God of War when it was on PC. We played a lot of New World. We'll be playing a lot of Lost Ark. So typically when we're doing gameplay, we're in this scene right here. And so, if you're enjoying the show, a lot of people treat me like video game radio. They tune in every day and throw me on in the background. So you can subscribe in confidence. You don't have to worry about the kind of language I'll use, as again, I am safe for work. So welcome to all of the new people. I love seeing new names in chat. I still love seeing new names on my subscriber, dashboard. So good to see you. Thanks for being here, Patrick, and everybody else that's, chiming into the debate and the discussion. A lot of you, I don't know if I've ever interacted with you before, and welcome. I try to be a very interactive streamer and give you a really great show. We do have a second show planned today as well, 2 talk shows. The second show today will be about Halo and their store updates that they have promised, and there are some store updates landing today as well that we will be checking out. Moonloop says, yes, there is a balance. You gain meaningful stuff from every activity. It's not that you only do one activity after you reach a certain gear score. Okay. 4 to 8 man raids. The PvP is super fun in this game too, says Bada. There used to be 16-man raids, but it wasn't working, so they scaled it down to 4 to 8 man raids. Okay, Moonloop with good details here. Thank you, as well as Robert. You do Abyss Void dungeons for better quality gear and to upgrade your eye level to the next tier. Moonloop saying there's open world bosses with no limit on how many you can do them. At high eye level, you basically do Chaos Guardian for enchant. You do Chaos dungeons or guardian raids for enchant mats, runes, engravings, and you focus on void or abyssal hell mode dungeons or raids for getting mats to get better gear sets. Okay. All right. So when you're doing all those loops, right? When you're doing all those loops, would you say that you're like your day-to-day content loop? Are you going through, because this is the kind of stuff I like, you going through and like checking boxes, right? You do a couple chaos dungeons, couple guardian raids, because you can do what, two each a day. Then you do some void and abyssal hell. What's a void? They didn't talk about that in the video. You keep typing that. They mentioned, let me scroll down to my document here. I was typing notes while listening. They mentioned abyssal dungeons, which are harder endgame dungeons of the types that you face when leveling up. And you didn't go into a lot of detail about them. What do you mean when you say void? Like, there are void dungeons or raids, void raids, as another form of endgame content loop? Also, what is eye level? Because I keep seeing that at a high eye level instead of level. So is there a difference between... Oh, that's right. I remember playing this. You have your character level, and then your other level. There's like two different levels, and I'm assuming one of them has to do with like your strength in the game. Because you're saying at high eye level, you do Chaos or Guardian for mats. Eye level is item level. Thank you, Wheezy. Okay, so when you have high item level, you start doing what you're saying. So gear level. Account... Yeah, there was account level, and then there was like your eye level, like your item level, your gear score. Got it. Okay, thank you. I played it a bunch, but I mean, it was... I was just enjoying the content loop. I didn't take a lot of notes. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I guess that's a sign. That's a sign that I was enjoying myself, because I don't remember a lot of the details. I just remember loving running through the map and killing everything and picking up gear and changing my but changing my loot a little bit here and there. Yo, what's good, Atwood? Good to see you in the chat. Fam is good. Okay, Moonloop says there's daily stuff and weekly stuff, but even if you miss 2 to 3 to 4 daily stuffs, there is a bar that fills when you miss on those that works as a multiplier on the rewards that you get. So it's like a well-rested thing. They do the well-rested thing in New World. So you miss a couple days of Lost Ark, you come back, and you get a multiplier on the rewards that you're going to get. Okay. There's so much in the game, it's understandable. Yeah, I mean, I just played through and was like, this is so fun. Like, I didn't even get into, like, the depth of my build. I mean, I was obviously leveling up and messing around with my build, but like I wasn't like looking at stats or numbers or breaking anything down. We just kept going into dungeons and putting them on hard. It was so fun and getting good gear. It was a blast. Do you ever run out of stuff to do? It sounds like no. It sounds like no. I mean, every single game, I think you're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, my character is where I want them. From the sounds of it, I'll be honest, it sounds like that takes a really, really long time for you to feel like your character is like done and capstone. Do you know what I mean? Typically, you have a character account level that is part of the core RPG loop, new skills and whatnot. Eye level is usually associated with the gear grind. Example, you need certain items to do hard stuff. Right. Are you going to go with a blaster again at launch? Man, I really like the artillerist, but this guy with this big sword is really changing my mind, man. He is absolutely just laying waste to stuff. It's bedlam when he goes into a big crowd. I really like the artillerist, though. I think I'm going to do the artillerist again because I'd like to get the artillerist really, really leveled up and get some really awesome gear and take him through the end game. I was very, very much enjoying the artillerist with the gunner. I think that's just how I'm wired. I like having guns, like getting out that Gatling gun and doing the mortar and doing that blast, and the flamethrower seemed really, really strong. I was very thoroughly enjoying my time with the artillerist. It's one of the beautiful things about this game, I'll tell you, all of the Lost Ark classes, they're designed in such a way that it's really hard to choose one. You know, you watch them all do stuff, and you're like, well, that looks cool. I want to do that. And then you watch the next one. And you're like, well, that looks cool. I want to do that too. So the replay value is certainly there, especially if you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm kind of done with this character, because you don't have to max the character all the way out. You can have a perfectly fun experience running the end game content loop for a couple of weeks and be like, I want to start a new character. You know, I'd like to try out, you know, what are some of the names of them? There was like a martial artist, I think. There are 100 islands to explore, NPC rapport affinity, PvP, guild PvE, PvP, collectibles, all the stuff rewarded to you, by the way. I was looking through the class section and thought the bard class seems cool. We were playing with somebody who was playing as a bard, and a friend of mine, Aloha Wendy, she covers ESO, and she's about as charming as a postcard. You should check her out. She's awesome. She does ASMR content with games like this. She had footage of a bard, and it looked really fun in her footage that she uploaded. In work at the moment, be sure to smash the like button. Yo, how's my man Ginger? What's good, Ginger? Good to see you. I played it during the beta, and I really enjoyed it. I've been loving the Shadow Hunter, says Bada. I've been playing on Russia. Very fun class. Shadow Hunter. Is that the one that, like, does all, like, the teleport ninja stuff with, like, a sword or something? I remember all the classes looked so cool. Oh, it was you on the bard. Yeah, Silent Warrior played with me. He was on a bard. I played with Wheezy, and we played with a couple other guys that we typically played New World with. I think Demetrius might have been in there, and there was a couple other people that played with us. If I am going gun-based class, I'm not doing artillerist. I want fast-paced action for the gun-based character. Artillerist looks clunky and slow, and I don't like a beefy gun choices on that one. Yeah, he is clunky and slow, Distorted. No, I did not use controller. I tried controller, and Lost Ark controller support is certainly there, and it's good, but I didn't like it. I just went, yeah, Manny played with this, yes. I just went to mouse and keyboard. It was so much easier. There's so many attacks that you gotta, like, let's say I want to drop a mortar, right? I have to drag my mouse and click where I want it to drop. That's not easy on a controller. It just isn't. A bard's like a singer. Yeah, you attack people with music. You do. You do. You actually do. There's like musical notes and stuff in the animations. It's fantastic. If you look at the classes, I'm here to tell you. They will make it very difficult for you to pick. They will. You guys want to see it? We've done this before. We've gone through the classes. I think they have them on their website, and you can like go through. Yeah, right here, classes. All right, hang on. This is fun. We did this last time. This is actually pretty fun for those of you that are new to the game here. Let me get out of the way. We don't want to block the pretty ladies. Okay, so you got these are your main classes, and then these all have subclasses that you have to choose. You can't just like pick a gunner and fiddle around for a while and then decide to be an artillerist. You decide that beforehand, okay? If I wasn't a daytime working guy, I'd play every one of the games with you when I game. I go into no life mode. Oh, I hear you. If you want a good MMO with really good classes and specs, says Sandra, you guys have never played a bard in Rift the game? I've not heard of that, no. Forgot to ask if you were playing World on Xbox or not. So you actually have to pick you pick one of these first, and then you pick your real class after the fact. So these are like your main classes, and then you pick your subclass after. So if you pick a warrior, then you have the berserker, the paladin, and the gun lancer. So what you're doing is that's a little confusing that there's a gun lancer in the berserker. That's a little confusing. So the let's see here. All right. And Yes, if you're just tuning in, thank you so much for being here. We are doing a Lost Ark Endgame breakdown. We did it at the beginning of the stream. We've been looking at a video they uploaded to their official YouTube channel. So if you want to see my Lost Ark Endgame breakdown, it is at the beginning of this video. Now we are looking at Lost Ark all classes so that you can get an idea of all the various things you can pick. I think we do this almost every time we take a look at this game because it is really, really enjoyable. Coffee's fantastic, and thanks for the drawing. Oh, nice. Retweet. So, let's take a look here. We are looking at the Warrior class, and then there's the 3 that you can pick. Now, the Berserker, there you go. Holy moly, the armor in this game is just ridiculous. So the Berserker attacks, you can see here what they do is they give you your 5 main attacks. I don't think they get down into the muck and the mire of every single thing. And then you can play the video. So it looks like the guy that we've been watching with that big sword, potentially he was a Berserker. Holy freaking moly. That is awesome. So you line him up and then you lay him down. So that's actually pretty dope. So they give you a nice little quick sample. That is the Berserk Fury. Then he has his Strike Wave. Again, this is the 3-pronged, I think. This is the same idea. Yeah, it puts out like a big, nice 3-pronged wave for some good crowd control. And the animations in this game, I just think, are so stellar. I think they're part of what makes the content so enjoyable. And here's the Whirlwind. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when we were watching that guy with the big sword, he did this at some point. So he was on a Berserker when he was doing the big sword, just laying waste to everything. Oh, that's awesome. Little after effect there. The Crime Hazard. So we're looking at a Warrior Berserker. And so that's a swing, an uppercut looks like, and then a slam. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of a juggle. I took your advice on the Italian sweet cream and the coffee. Correct choice, my friend. Correct choice. I'm telling you, Coffee Mate Italian sweet cream, it blends perfectly with Rageless Roast. So here he does a bit of a jump, and then well that is fun. So it looks like if he catches somebody with it, it's devastating. Absolutely devastating. So that's the Berserker, which is one of the subclasses of the Warrior, and then the Paladin. Paladin's a Warrior of Light, so these will be a lot of like light-based attacks, more than likely, with probably a huge sword. There you go. A little bit of a jump and then a projectile down into the earth. Well, he is the projectile. He is the projectile as well. Good morning, everyone. Worthy is my name. Hello, good morning. If you're just tuning in, we're checking out Lost Ark gameplay, looking at all the classes. At the beginning of the stream, we do have a Lost Ark Endgame breakdown. They released a brand new video yesterday on their official channel, and we broke that down. We'll circle back to that in a moment. We wanted to show off all of the classes. That's just sort of an area of effect boom, like a looks like there's different versions of it that could potentially help you. Man, see, this is exactly what I was talking about. They make it really, really hard to choose a class in this game. Just watching the footage here of the Paladin is making me second guess everything. So he does a couple of swings here, and then another area of effect. It creates the area of effect, maybe even kind of pulls in, and then does some more light-based attacks. Law of God, attack here. This is really well organized the way they have this set up. So that puts something on the ground and just sort of like stuns, and then Gabriel comes down and gives them a nice greeting. So that's actually pretty cool. Now if you land... Oh, wait, Gabriel didn't come down that time. So that might be a way to modify Law of God. So an angel does come down on the tail end of it. Remember, if you guys are enjoying the content, hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate you being here. We are planning to do a lot of Lost Ark coverage. Some hack and slash flurries there for the Paladin. Yeah. That's good. That's good. So that's the second class of the Warrior. So we've looked at the Berserker, we looked at the Paladin. Let's take a look at the Gunlancer. This again is not the Gunner class. This one looks... amazing. He has a sword gun that has electricity coming out of it. Yeah, that looks awesome. So that's the charged stinger. He also has a leap attack. I really like the Gun Lancer. I'm telling you, they make it really, really hard to choose. Holy moly. They make it really, really hard to choose like which class you want to be, because every class is extremely fun looking. The hook chain. We were playing with somebody that was doing this. Yeah, we were playing with somebody that was doing the hook chain last time. Somebody was a Gun Lancer. Man, that is so cool looking. That you can tell they've taken so much care and so much time in just the individual animations of the characters and their attacks. My gosh, what the frick was that? So he does a big charge up, drops a bunch of shields, and then he has shields around him as well. So that, like, Guardian's Protection. So upon using the skill, you recover 100% of your shield meter, and you release a 10-meter radius protection aura in the nearby area for 10 seconds. Foes within the aura take damage and become stunned. Within the aura, you and your party take less damage and become immune to pushes and debuffs. So he's got some really, really good support there, combined with some damage and some crowd control as well. Just a little bit of a gunshot here. Nothing spectacular. Just a nice bam bam. Looks like it does something afterwards as well. Puts a little bit of a burn on him. So that's the Gun Lancer. Another one of the warrior. Classes. Back to the top. Will that take me back to the classes? We might have to click. I don't know if we can get back to the classes without going through. Yeah, I don't know if we can do it. I might have to go. There's a way to do it. Game classes. Let's do it that way. So that was the warrior. Martial artists, and this is something people have asked about as well. Like, are they all gender locked, right? Are all the characters gender locked? They are looking into not doing that, but for the time being, like, if you pick the martial artists, 3 out of her 4 options are gender locked. So you'd be playing as a woman or a man. Now, obviously, depending, everybody's different. Somebody might want to pick Striker, and they don't want to look like, Bruce Lee's cousin. They want to look like a woman, right? And that's fine, but that's not a choice that you have right now. If you pick martial artist Striker, you're gonna be a dude. You're gonna be a guy. So if you want to look like a woman, if you want to look, you can change class with the slide bar on the right. Oh, over here. Oh my gosh, thank you. That's really convenient. So the Striker is one of the martial artists, and he has a lot of different attacks, obviously. Tiger emerges, so he draws in some power, and then a tiger head appears, it looks like. Yeah, a big tiger head comes up out of the ground. That's freaking awesome. I told you, they're going to make it really, really hard for you to pick a class. Like Lost Ark, all classes are worth playing. Every single one. What in the world was that? So he draws in. Oh, his outfit's so dope. He does 2 little kicks there and just destroys the world. Just a 1 kick and then a 2nd kick slam. He brings his foot down twice. That's like that kick that Madame Butterfly does when she's like up in the air in Sekiro. Little, some sweet chin music here. Little kicks and some up, like knee, some knees up. Little bit there. So it looks like his stuff is, based in martial art movement. There we go. Got a little bit of a Chun-Li kick going on. A little bit of a wah, 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 wah. There we go. That's actually pretty hot. And the magic, it's magic infused martial arts is what it looks like to me. Here he's gonna fight a bunch of mimics. Took them to task. Oh, so it's like a roundhouse, like a jumping kind of spinning roundhouse with flame. Man, I'm telling you, they have absolutely nailed the animations. Just 100% nailed the animations. In a game where you play as a character so small and not detailed, I hope you aren't seriously upset about their face. There are actually people that take it very seriously. They take it very seriously because, like, once you look at your character, you can customize them. You can hide their helmet. You can hide their hat. There are outfits in the game that you can literally make your character look like a Victoria's Secret model, like ready for the runway, like literally wearing like lingerie. There's a whole culture there of I call it waifu culture. Like, they want their character to look really, really hot and really, really voluptuous, and both men and women do this with their characters. And so, that is just something that every person plays at a different level. I don't ever care about that. I don't ever care about that. That isn't important to me. I like to make my character look like me. If I can create a character, I like to make my character look like me. I like to have him have like a beard and, like spiky hair. Back when I had long hair, I try to give him long hair. It's not about the face. Some folks won't be able to pick their gender. Right, like if you want to play as the war dancer, this chick right here, right, she's beautiful, but maybe you want to play as a dude. And that's not that. I don't have anything against somebody wanting to play as a dude, and it goes both ways. Maybe you wanted to play as the last guy that we looked at. Maybe you want to play as a striker and you'd like to play as a woman, right? You can't. He's gender locked. And so is War Dancer. So that's just one thing that they've heard from the community, they've heard from the gaming community at large about, and they've said, okay, we're going to look in removing gender locks. The problem is every single cosmetic, every single armor piece, every single animation, it's all rooted in this in the models that they've designed. So I went back to the old Synthwave playlist because it takes up to 48 hours for them to whitelist our channel, and I don't feel like getting 35 emails. You get like 30 emails saying that there's been copyright claims, and then you get 30 more emails saying they've all been released. It's really freaking annoying. So, Striker equals War Dancer. It's the male version. But the abilities are different, like Fist of Dominance, like Lightning Kick. Wait, are you serious? Is it the same? Here's Lightning Kick. No, it's different. It's different because his lightning kick was more like a Chun-Li thing, and that's more like a tumbling kick. Like, you tumble into them and, like, drop your foot at the end. Fist of Dominance gets yeah, this is not even remotely the same. That is awesome, though. She goes flying around like a pinball machine and just wrecks. That is awesome. That is awesome. Let's see here. I have played since the Korean version. Best MMO in the past decade. It's not even close. Trust me, Lost Ark will turn heads, and defo copycat games are coming. There we go. She's got some good punches there. She's kind of channeling E Honda. That's good. That's good. And here's the triple fist. Better watch out or she'll give you her triple fist. Oh, that was kind of cool. It's like whip, 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 whip. If you're just tuning in, we are combing over Lost Ark all classes. We already did a Lost Ark Endgame breakdown. It was at the beginning of the stream. There was some new gameplay, like a new gameplay video that they released, and it was sort of a breakdown of all of the Endgame gameplay content loops. If you're enjoying the content, remember, hit subscribe, hit the bell button, hit the like button, especially if you want to, chime in the conversation. We greatly appreciate it. We're getting a lot of people today that are searching for either me or they're searching for Lost Ark. We're getting a really, really good suggest rate off of the Lost Ark Encyclopedia Endgame video. So we appreciate people coming in. If you're curious about the Endgame or have questions, just chime in the chat and let us know. We're looking at all the classes now and just having a discussion. This is the Scrapper, another one of the martial artists. Now, again, this one is gender locked. So if you like the idea of playing as the Scrapper, you are gonna be a pretty lady. And she does some kind of a dragon head cast. She just pulls it all in and then wham, puts out a blast. That's actually pretty dope. Crushing Smite. Let's see here. Couple of kicks followed by a punch. And then Undefeated Dragon King. And then she goes up. So she's got a lot of her stuff's dragon based. So the one class, the Striker, he had all this tiger stuff. Wow, that animation is so clean. I'm telling you, they make it extremely hard to pick a class in this game. Just some basic punches followed by a ground slam there. And then this one's called Death Sentence. Looks like it might pull in more dragon imagery. Let's try and get a better angle here. Yeah, there's like a dragon projectile that comes flying out. If you're curious, this is what we were watching this morning. So this is on their channel. This is on their channel right now. And we can go back to the classes in a moment. This is what they were doing a breakdown of. And we did a very quick flyover of all the various aspects of the endgame content loop. And we had people in chat that were kind of helping answer questions. Good morning, Radical. Going to start a guild? Yeah, we would probably start a guild. So if you want to become part of our Discord server, be sure to get in there. If you want to become a paying member to get increased access in our Discord server, that's the type of stuff that we like to do. I found this part to be pretty cool. This is the tower going up through the various floors and getting rewarded accordingly. And this guy's running a berserker. A warrior berserker is what it looks like to me. And yeah, those are berserker moves. I'm fairly certain. And using that big, huge sword. Gets all the way to 15 here, and I believe this is where he dies. Well, no, one of the times he dies. Oh, gets to floor 24 in this footage. So this is stuff that you do solo. So if you're looking for a good solo content loop, the tower is something you can do twice a day from what they said in the video. It's not the animation, it's the FX and the particle effects. You understand that, like, the animation, when I say animation, it can include the FX and the particle effects, right? Like, I'm using the terminology very generically. There's no need to be pedantic about it. It's my new favorite word when people decide to be pedantic in the chat. Like, when I say animation, it can encompass both the FX and the particle effects. It's a very, very generic term. It's a broad term. Moonloop says there is a lot of PvE. I think I went platinum, says Silent Warrior. I plan on playing this game a lot, so I feel the money is worth it, especially since I paid $100 for Battlefield 2042 and got about 30 minutes of gameplay out of it. Yeah, we almost reported on this, but man, oh man, Battlefield 42, nobody really cares about that game. Like, it's not doing well on YouTube, and we were considering covering it. But the challenge is that they're considering going free to play. They're considering going free to play, so I don't know, man. That game is in bad shape, and I decided not to cover it. So there was some news about it recently that we just decided to not cover because, like, nobody really cares about Battlefield 2042 right now. I'll be joining that guild. Hopefully, we don't have another New World server issue. I think, yeah, that's a good question for people that have played it. Do you have to worry about guilds being, like, if you're on, do we have to be in the same regions, or, I'm sorry, same servers in order for the guilds to work, or do guilds work cross-server? That's a good question. When I use the word animation, I'm talking about the generally accepted gamer definition. Yeah, I mean, it encompasses everything. Just like every part of the animation, where they jump, when they land, when the lightning effect, the rocks that blast up from the ground, you know, the dragon. Still waiting on Amazon's January update for these types of things. Chestpain says, is this going to be like New World where you have to pick a server and you're locked into it? Yeah, that's the thing we don't know. In the beta, when we played the Lost Ark beta, that was definitely a thing. You had to, like, pick a server and that was it. You were locked in. So I don't know. That's a question about the guilds that I have. Are you going to have to worry, like, hey, we started a guild and you're not on our server, you can't join the guild? I believe it's server-based, but I could be wrong. If I had to bet, I would bet it was server-based. That's generally how these things work, because there's no other way to get people together. Like, you can't have a guild across all these different servers. Hey, somebody else ordered some coffee, a bag of dark roast to Earthbound. I don't know if that's your first coffee order or not. That might be your first coffee order. Thank you, Earthbound. If you guys haven't checked out our various sponsors, I am wearing a brand new shirt from 80s Tees. It's a large print centipede shirt. Very, very cool shirt. So you can always use the shirt command, the disc plates in the background. sometimes they grab the focus instead of me, because because of her face messes with the focus. Use the display. Oh, it's your second order. Thank you, Earthbound. So check out our coffee. Check out our various sponsors, whether it's the shirt that I'm wearing or the displays in the background. Those commands are a great way to support the channel directly. It is free to subscribe to the channel, by the way. If you want to subscribe, I'll be in your sub feed all week long with talk shows and gameplay, mostly talk shows. Usually I am in this scene and we are just having a nice breakdown, discussion, debate, whatever. I am safe for work, so a lot of people throw me on in the background like video game radio. So if you haven't already, smash the subscribe button and that like button. Let's get our 200 likes. Let's hit that next like milestone. And we appreciate you being here this morning. Most of the people that hang out here every day treat me like video game radio. They subscribe, I'm in their sub feed, they click, and they just hang out every day. So Black Desert Online does guilds across servers, which I thought was pretty cool. I admit it is cool. It's not common. I wouldn't expect it. You know what I mean? I would not expect it. So yeah, make sure and use code Lono if you go to 80s Tees. It's 30% off. 80s Tees has Marvel, Star Wars, old video games, anything you could think of is over there. If you like Voltron, you like Thundercats, Super Mario, I mean, whatever you could think of is over there. My favorite Battlefield story, cheat company no longer offering Battlefield cheats because the game isn't optimized and the cheats aren't working properly. We treat him very nicely and with complete respect. Yeah, sure. Can confirm Loto Radio is a thing, that's right. I'll definitely be checking out Lost Ark. Looks like my potato PC can run it. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard for your average PC to run this game. You might have to turn down some of the effects and stuff, because it gets pretty intense. You can turn off the effects of people not in your party, but not your party members. It helps with world bosses. So there you go, Robert adding some pretty good insight. So if you're not wanting your computer to like freeze up when you're on an open world boss, because everybody is casting, lightning explosions and everything else. During the beta, I went to an area and it had about 10 channels available. That's how people farm world bosses. They hop channel to channel to see if the boss is available in that version. Oh, really? Huh. That's right. It was channel-based. That's how they did the instancing in this. Like, you would go into an area, whether it was a town or whether it was an open-world area, and we all had to make sure we were in the same channel so we could see each other and play together. So what happens when you're in a melee range and the rest of your group is blitzing the screen? You might be okay, but I think I'd struggle to see where I am. It gets a little chaotic, right? It gets a little chaotic. And like they're saying, you can turn off other people's skill effects to kind of help find yourself when you're out there. I liked when we were running dungeons as a group. So like we would go into like a Lost Ark dungeon, and I liked seeing everybody else's attacks. I thought it was dope, just like roaming through and seeing explosions and kicks and gunfire and stuff from my buddies. I actually thought it was pretty dope. I didn't find it to be all that distracting. Now again, that the challenge there would be that if your computer is struggling or if it gets too chaotic, it could probably be a little annoying to have all that going on. Yeah. Are the min specs required out yet? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they've said anything. Party buff heals are ground based, so I believe that's why they can't turn off party members. Yeah, you need to be able to see what somebody's doing. Like if they put something on the ground and you're supposed to stand in it to heal or get protected. We saw that with the Paladin. Like the Paladin had this thing that he slammed on the ground, and it put like basically like an aura that gave you heals, and it stunned the enemies and hurt the enemies. You just learn to identify what's going on over time. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're playing with buddies and they tell you that they just put one on the ground, you could go stand near them, but you're going to want to see the effects of your party, I would imagine, just because there's a lot of things that, you need to know are coming. Especially if you're trying to sync up, like maybe they have something that adds like a debuff or something, and you want to know when that's going on, because then you're going to save your big attack. I don't know. you get used to it. You see your effects, and you see such and such character just did this and that person. I didn't find it very hard to find my character. It's not like a dungeon crawler where you're sharing the screen and you know, one person goes up into the corner and then you're down in the other corner. All right, so here's the Lost Ark system requirements. The minimum system requirements for Lost Ark is an Intel Core i3 or an AMD Ryzen 3, memory 8 gig of RAM, graphics NVIDIA GeForce 460, DirectX version 9 or higher, which goes all the way back to June 2010, broadband internet, 50 gig of available storage space, and internet connection required to play. So you can play this game on a potato, from what I gather. You don't have to have a significantly strong. You don't have to have a significantly strong system to play this. So it doesn't seem like it, at least. Here's a baby boy update. He's dancing all around right now. Lono vibes. That's right. That's right. The little guy. He knows. He's going to be a champion. He's going to be a champion. Just because he had like a nickname for, 6 months that was worthy of a king. Basically, it will run on a potato. Yeah, I think my refrigerator can run this game. Hardest thing for most people is finding their cursor, but don't forget you can change the color of it by control scroll and the size of it in settings. It helps a lot. That is true. It's actually, I remember doing that. So I remember playing and somebody telling me that. They're like, yeah, if you're having a hard time finding your cursor, you can change color and you can change size. So that is an option, because you can see here the red cursor, the little teeny red cursor, it kind of blends in a lot of these scenes. That you could make it larger, you could make it like a bright green or a bright yellow or something. I think you can. It was me. Oh, when I was playing, it was you? Okay, so you've been here before. Okay. I doubt you need a strong PC to play this game. It's Unreal Engine 3. Yeah. What was I going to say? I forget. We were talking about this. I didn't find the horse riding to be all that. Was it that much faster than walking? I don't know. I liked the horse riding, but it didn't seem to be. No, it's a little bit faster. You could see it right there. It's a little bit faster. It's not light years of speed, but it certainly is a little bit quicker. People wanting mounts in New World. You run faster on the streets now, Does loot drop for the person individually? Yes. Yeah. Loot is instance as far as I know. I don't think we were you don't have to worry about loot ninjas. Most games now are going to instance loot just because they understand that people don't want to fiddle around with that. You know what I mean? That can be pretty frustrating. You're kidding. I was at Best Buy, and they have fridges with giant touchscreens on them. Yeah, so I recently got my wife a new dishwasher. Well, not my wife. We got it for the house, but she's primarily the one that loads and unloads it, because I'm usually down here when that's happening. I'm usually working. And she got one that she really liked for herself. She picked it out. I didn't pick it. I didn't pick it out. But I was like, okay, well, once we get through tax season, we'll look at updating the fridge too. Because the microwave's now been updated, and the dishwasher, and next will be probably stove and fridge, because they're pretty old, and a couple of the burners are acting up on the stove, and our ice maker is acting up on the fridge. And so we were wanting to get her a refrigerator, because she's been looking at the ones that she likes, right? And good job digging out of that hole. I'm not worried about woke culture coming for me if I say I got my wife a dishwasher. We don't mind sharing and having different jurisdictions. Yeah, she does the dishes and the cooking most of the time. So woke culture can suck my toe. Anyway, that's not why I corrected that. I corrected that because she picked it out for herself. I didn't go to the store and get it. In any case, we were at Home Depot looking at the refrigerators, and they had one with like a touchscreen, and my son was like drawing monsters on it and pictures and everything else. So when we talked about getting a new fridge, like my kids were begging for the touchscreen refrigerator. I'm like, we're not getting the touchscreen refrigerator because of where the refrigerator is. We have to get the one door at the top and one pull out on the bottom, right? Because it'll open. Right now, our freezer opens to the left and like hits the wall, right? So you have a marriage? Yeah, we do. In a stunning turn of events, a man in 2022 admits that he and his wife do different things around the house. What an appalling admission. We'll have more as this outrageous scandal unfurls. What an outrageous scandal. I heard those are not good at all. I mean, I don't want a refrigerator with a touchscreen. I don't want a refrigerator with a touchscreen. Holy this, Leah, what happened? NVIDIA to abandon its something? What's it I don't even know what that is. Please teach me, Sensei. I think you can get the fridge and write it off as a gaming device. That's right. I'm still trying to figure out how much I need to make to keep my wife at home. Oh, yeah, single income's not easy, but if you can do it, it's great. It really is great. It is very challenging for sure. If you get the Samsung, it'll be fixed within 6 months. No, we're doing all Whirlpool. We want everything to look the same, and the Whirlpool stuff has gotten really good reviews, and we've had good results. So, if you're just tuning in, we're doing a Lost Ark Endgame breakdown. We watched the new video that was on the Lost Ark official YouTube channel, and we've been kind of breaking it down, discussing it, and we've got knowledgeable people in chat that have played the game quite a bit. So if you're new and you've got questions, hit subscribe so you can talk in the chat. Take our poll at the top of the chat there. It's been up for about an hour, 400 votes. Will you be playing Lost Ark when it releases? Split right down the middle, about half the audience saying yeah, and about half the audience saying no. We make Whirlpool stuff where I work. That's awesome. Whirlpool stream when? Yeah. Make 50 and single income's rough. Yeah, that's tight. You got to really watch. Depending on where you live, yeah, 50 would be tight. You know, in some cities it'd be fine, but I would imagine in most cities you're gonna be having to really budget, you know, and be very cognizant of your spending, you know. Whirlpool's good, Frigidair's good too. Yeah. Well, it's just funny. Like, my wife and I have like a funny relationship because like she really, really wants affirmation in a purchase, and she won't buy something until she double, triple, quadruple checks it, and then she wants me to look at it. She wants her sister to look at it. Like, everybody has to look at it before she buys it. So when she told me at dinner, that it was like a week ago, that she had ordered a dishwasher, and that it was coming and getting installed and everything. She paid for the install and everything. I was like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah." I literally told the Echo to play Queen We Are the Champions. My kids thought it was funny. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." We had to go to a local place though, like Home Depot. Everything was like 6 weeks out. So we went to a local place that had the one we wanted, and they installed it like a week later. So, no trolling, of course. They're going to play. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about home decorating and how much better and more reliable Whirlpool is than Samsung. That's right. A lot of faulty appliances. Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do to figure that out? What am I going to do with that information? Too long didn't read. NVIDIA was buying up a huge tech company, but the U.S., Federal Trade Commission was suing NVIDIA to stop the deal, and the UK's antitrust body was also in support. Specifically here in the US, the new FTC chairwoman, Lina Khan, is basically large tech companies' nightmare because she is big on stopping them from just all slowly consolidating all the power and the companies under their swing. So yeah, what, she's going to try and stop Microsoft from buying Activision Blizzard? Is that what you're thinking? because that still has to go through that. I think that goes through. I think Microsoft has way more pull in American governance maybe than NVIDIA does. But I also think the Microsoft deal is not necessarily going to create antitrust, anti-competitive environments. They don't care about video games. Yeah, I don't think they're going to try to block that one. I don't think there's going to be antitrust, anti-competitive environments that result from it. But I also think that, Microsoft could grease the wheels if it needs to go through. I think they got big enough pocketbook to make sure that that it goes through. What doesn't Samsung make? I bet they make baby formula. If you're just tuning in, we are all over the place this morning. Give us our first 200 likes, man. We've been slacking on the like button. Like we get a ton of people in, and I'm having to beg and plead for those likes, man. It's almost like the lack of the dislike counter has made people not care about pressing like. It's almost like the brand loyalty of like I need to press like every day has gone down in the wake of the dislike button or dislike counter going away. You know what I mean? God of War making PC players buy a PlayStation 5. What did we say yesterday? I said that, and I got told that was ridiculous, that the PC gamers would wait. What are they basing off of in that article? Or did they survey players, and are players saying they're trying to get a PS5 now? Again, if you're just tuning in, we've been rewatching the Endgame video that Lost Ark put up on their channel. We also were combing through the various classes on their website, and we got to the martial artist, and we got to the scrapper, and we were looking at the scrapper's attacks. I don't think we actually got through and looked at them. I don't think we did. Let me double check here. Did we? Yes, we did. We did watch the scrapper. So we need to finish out the martial artist and go and look at the Soul Fist. So the Soul Fist is the fourth of the martial artist, and she's got Annihilating Ray. And if you've never been here before, we like to do breakdowns and kind of watch stuff like this. Oh, golly, that gets really cool because we think it's a great way to look at the game. And one of the things I've consistently said about the Lost Ark classes is that they make it really hard for you to choose. Here she is literally laying the smackdown, and that was a different version of it with like a 2-hit there. So clearly ways to modify it and change it within the skill tree. And a bit of a spinning jump with an area of effect after, and now she wants to do it again. Okay, so similar there, slightly different versions, one with more of an explosion area of effect and one with an enduring area of effect. Looks like a punch with it followed by projectiles, maybe. No projectiles that time. So the attacks always look a little bit different depending on how they've modified them or how they've put them. That's similar to the Gatling gun a little bit, but a lot shorter of a window of time compared to the Gatling gun on the artillerist. So that basically is all four of the martial artists. And the gunner ended up being the one that I went with. Now, one of the reasons I stayed away from, I forget which one it was. It might have been, was it the gunslinger? It's one that has like 3 different. I went with the artillerist, this one here. Is it the Deadeye with the 3 different guns? I think it might be. They can choose the most effective weapon from an arsenal that includes double handgun, shotgun, and rifle. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Deadeye that does that. Yeah. So I'm fairly certain, based on what people said, the gunner Deadeye is one of the more complicated guys to play with because you're not just switching and doing different attacks. You're literally switching your weapon. And when you switch your weapon, it changes all your base attacks. So you're switching between the double handgun, the shotgun, and the rifle. And that can get a little bit chaotic. They're basing it on some Steam review and what people are saying on Twitter. Nothing official, just anecdotal. Yeah, but PC gamers indicating that now they really want to get a PS5 because they played God of War on the PS5. I mean, that's like saying that, the ground is going to be wet after a rainstorm. I mean, I assumed that was going to be the result. Deadeye and Gunslinger both have 3 guns. Oh, okay, so Deadeye and Gunslinger both have 3 guns. Okay, let's go back to Gunslinger. The ability to switch between them quickly. Okay. Light on their feet, cat-like reflexes. Yeah, I'm only seeing blue and red down here. I'm not seeing the purple like I did with the Deadeye. Deadeye and Gunslinger are basically the same, just one is male and the other is female. Really? All right, let's compare them. They don't show us all the attacks, so it's kind of hard. So this one's called Eye of Twilight. Holy moly. Okay. Oh, that wasn't a projectile after that one kill. It was like a soul, like, flying up. Okay, so that's like a delayed wave blast that comes flying out. And there's like a double, just devastating. And there's a different version. One gun, but like a multi-fire, as opposed to the 2 guns coming out and just like a big blast. This is plasma bullet. Oh, this might be the purple. Looks a little bit purple, at least. That's pretty nice. It's slow, but when you got an enemy nicely kited coming towards you, that could be pretty devastating. Lost Ark gang in the house. That's right. A lot of Lost Ark. Whoa! A lot of Lost Ark folks in the chat. If you're new and haven't hit subscribe yet, we'd love to meet you. We're going to be covering and playing this game quite a bit when it launches. This is fun right here. Kicks him up and then shoots him. Jiminy Christmas. That is nice. Hang on. What do we got here? Department of Justice Antitrust Chief past work for Microsoft looms over the $69 billion. The Justice Department would likely handle any probe of Microsoft's $70 billion Activision Blizzard acquisition, but the Department of Justice Antitrust Chief Jonathan Cantor's previous work for Microsoft could throw a wrench into that routine. Cantor spent more than a decade as a legal advisor and lobbyist for Microsoft on regulatory issues. He would likely be forced to recuse himself from any probe of the Microsoft Activision deal, insiders say. This increases the likelihood that a review of the deal could be kicked to Lena Khan and the Federal Trade Commission, which also handles antitrust cases, according to former DC-based regulators. Who gets to handle this merger is a $70 billion question. Oh, boy. She's fun. She's so much fun. High ATM, though, and lots of buttons. Yeah, that's why I went with the Artillerist, because like these characters, Gunslinger and Deadeye, it just seemed like so much work. I love the spin. I love the spin shot. I love it. Okay, so this here is my man. This is the guy that I really liked playing as, the Artillerist. And I used all these base attacks. You got the missile barrage, so it goes up, comes down, you know, very, very fun. Great area of effect. Really good if a boss kind of digs in to do a telegraph attack or is standing still or whatever. If you know they're going to be kind of dug into an area and not doing a lot of motion. The buckshot is a quick one. It's a quick spin and blast, and it's good for knockback. It's good to kind of give yourself some space. So I traditionally would do that and make space and follow it up with the Gatling gun. Flamethrower is slow, but very, very devastating to a nice group of enemies if they're walking toward you, coming through a nice choke point. Single target, it's also very nice because it kind of puts them in a bit of a stun pattern, and it can be very good. I liked following Buckshot with Gatling gun just because you get to just absolutely just hold it down and blast for a pretty extended amount of time. And Napalm was really, really good when I would get up close to a boss. It puts that on the ground, and it was actually really, really strong. So another, that's a different version there. I liked doing the Napalm that put the stuff on the ground. I really, really enjoyed the Artillerist. It was very, 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 very fun. So the Deadeye is the one that I tried and ended up feeling like it was just too complicated. There's one attack, pretty devastating. Bursting Flare is what this one's called. Here's a slightly different version that it has like a fanned out area of effect in front of you. And then the Meteor Stream. Having to constantly switch weapons just made this guy seem very, very complex. You couldn't just rotate through your 7 to 8 attacks. You had between 4 to 6 on each gun, and it just felt extremely complicated. That looks so awesome right there. Here's an example of one of the other guns you would use, the Spiral Flame. Again, you switch weapons to access this attack. So there's a button press that has to take place before you can do this attack. And then if you want to do your shotgun rapid fire, same thing. Got to switch weapons so you can do that. It's pretty devastating. And then the death fire. That's pretty awesome. Is it the look of holding a gun that you like? Overcasting spells? I don't know. I'm a gunner at heart. Like I like to have guns, you know? I do. I like to have guns. I think it gives you nice even when I play games like Diablo and stuff, I don't like to be the barbarian charging in. I like to be a little bit more pulled back. So Forbidden West, IGN, not bad graphics from Dawn. I don't know what you're saying. We're not gonna look at Horizon Forbidden West footage today. That's not what we're covering. Okay, so that's like some big giant tornado. This is GoldenEye. So launches it up into the air it looks like a bow, and it does like a tornado. Arrow shower. So the sharpshooter's got some bow and arrow stuff. Oh, that bow looks awesome. Okay. That's a pretty basic archer attack, common in most games. Shoot it up in the air, and all the arrows come flying down. We got an arrow wave. This will probably be like a blast back. No, not at all. It kind of grows into a fan out. Oh, that's nice. Really good pushback. Slow, but good. Bit of a spinning Tasmanian Devil attack here, called the Blade Storm. And then the charge shot. Let's see. There you go. Lono has a gun. Yeah, I like having a gun. See you gay? I don't know why you're asking me that question. I'm happily married and have 2 children, but what difference does it make? Let's see. That one's pretty good too. So there you go. Those are the 4 classes within the gunner. So we've looked at the warrior, the martial artist, the gunner, and now let's take a look at the mage. Mage only has 2 right now. They can obviously add more. Again, you're dealing with the gender lock, so that's you got the bard, and then you got the sorceress. I've seen a lot of people say they really enjoy playing as a bard, and it's one of the more popular ones. The bard has the oratorio, which, come on in, folks, and hear this beautiful song, Jiminy Christmas. That was big. That's a big attack. Yeah, that holds a large area. That seems pretty nice. So the oratorio. Stigma. The stigma. Again, see, these are the types of attacks that make working on a controller a little bit difficult. So you see, you have to pick where it goes. And on a controller, that can be really, really tough in the chaotic moments and the moments where there's a lot going on. Dragging that over, They just made stupid decisions of taking out starting classes. Other regions started with 3. Oh, really? Huh. She's like, here, taste these magical musical notes of goodness. How about a ballad? Boom. So that one is the Rhythm Buckshot. Heavenly tune. If you're just tuning in, we did a Lost Ark Endgame breakdown at the very beginning of the stream. I combed through the footage that's new on the Lost Ark YouTube channel and broke it all down. And we've been watching now Lost Ark all classes, looking at all the different classes. And we are now on the Bard, which is one of the mage classes you can play. And the last attack for the Bard here that they're going to show is the Prelude of Storm. That's a big attack that then leaves an area of effect on the ground that pulsates for that. And then the other one, so apparently they're saying that the mage had more in the other region, but they got the sorceress and the bard for the West. They're only showing 4 attacks for the mage for whatever reason. This is Awakening Incinerate. Oh, wow. There's a lot of layers to this attack. So there's 2 initial blasts on the ground, and then she just like rains down Armageddon. So she does that first blast, second blast, and then here comes all of the meteors. Okay. That's pretty crazy. A giant pillar raises from the target area and goes into the air and explodes, dealing even more damage. You drop meteor fragments from the sky to inflict damage on enemies. And then we have Frost Explosion. Man, that looks great. The water looks so good. They did such a good job with the individual animations. I'm sorry, the effects, or the whatever the frick. Here's Ice Arrow. Nice. That's pretty good. Oh, so she picks... Okay, so this is one of those runners that you put on the ground. Again, I find these attacks to be a little challenging with a controller. It's hard to see it right there at the beginning. But she puts that runner on the ground, and that's what, you know, dictates the direction of the attack. And this is Lightning Burst, so a sustained sort of Kamehameha, and great when you got a nice line of kited enemies. She gets to fan back and forth. A little bit of a burst at the end. So that's all of the mages. And then the assassin, similar to the mage, has the Shadow Hunter and the Death Blade. Let's see here. The Shadow Hunter prefer to beat demons at their own game. They can shapeshift. Yeah. This is the teleporty shapeshifter Shadow Hunter Demon Vision. This is the one I almost picked. Yeah. Jeez. So cool. I love how everything looks like dark, like shadowy, and like almost kind of mystical. Oh my. That's pretty good. So she has 2 versions there that they're showing. This one's end over end, and the other one's like a side swing, like a spinning swing. The other one's more of a somersault. What do we have here? Fallen Ruin. And... oh my. Yes. Oh, the red lightning is sick. Okay. This one's called Demon Clone. She just turns into a giant tree demon from hell. Jeepers. So cool looking. And then this one's called Spinning Weapon. So she pulls out 2 like saw blades almost. This might be a different version. Yeah, that's a slightly different version. Looks like 1, but maybe it does a little bit more damage. So that's the Assassin Shadow Hunter, and then the Death Blade. I love that outfit, looking like something out of Assassin's Creed. That's sick. Death Blade has the Flash Blink. Whoa! That's sick. That animation's dope. That is freaking dope. I told you they made it hard to pick. Every single one of these looks so fun. Wow, that's nice. Nice little, you really get to close gaps with that one. That one's nice because some of the enemies can be a little annoying. Like these guys shooting at you and you just get to blast right over to them. That's nice. It's good gap clearing. And then a little bit of an impale there of some sort. And a slightly different version there. Look like an ice lightning version. Soul Absorber. This is Blitz Rush. Okay, that looks nuts. Just like slicing and dicing, making a salad here. Slightly different version there. Like a shooting one instead of like a slice and dice. Area of effect, it looks like 3 points of damage. Yeah, that had a similar look, but a slightly different visual effect. So there you go. That is that's all of the classes right there for you. this is the end game video they put up. I'll be right back. We've been breaking it down. If you've got questions, if you're new, if you love playing this game, we'd love to hear from you. Take the poll at the top of the chat, hit subscribe and the bell button. We appreciate very much everybody being here this morning. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I don't like taking breaks that early in the show, but I had to. So there are elements in this game that affect weapon damage. Deathblade will be my main because it's still my waifu Lancemaster comes out. There you go. Yeah, you can affect, like, you can change. That's why some of the attacks looked like lightning, some of the attacks look like fire, some of the attacks look like ice. You go into your skills and you can, like, change what they do. Ginger Prime has a good controller map video. Yeah. He has one for New World as well, which this game has built-in controller support. So you can come up with your own or use his guide. New World doesn't have built-in controller support, so you kind of have to do it. You kind of have to, like, do a lot of it on your own. But one of the things in this game that I found fun is once I had an attack that I really, really liked doing, I could change what it looked like, kind of change what it did with the different skills that are available. And so as you level, your favorite abilities will they'll change quite a bit, actually, depending upon what you want to do to them with your skills as you level up. Now, one of the things they said in this video is that and the people in chat can kind of chime in here about this, you would need to do the towers. You climb the floors, they get harder. Each floor gives you an objective. Rewards get unlocked on each floor. And you get skill point potions, and you need those to max your overall skill tree after level 50. Is that the only, is that generally how you do that, or are there other places to get the skill point potions, or is the tower sort of your main source, or the only source for those? Thoughts on Berserker? I thought the Berserker looked great. That's what all this footage contains. The video that they uploaded, it's all Berserker. we just looked at all of the classes. Like, you can go to Lost Ark all classes on their website, and you can see all the base level attacks that the subclasses get. And the Berserker is a subclass of the Warrior, and that's what they're showing off here. Mostly, I think it's all the footage they used is Berserker. You get skill point potions in towers on level 20 and 50. Huh. He did a controller guide for Lost Ark. I may be mistaking and confusing the one he did for New World. I'm pretty sure Ginger did one for Lost Ark as well. For example, the Artillerist Flamethrower can change to cold, and it does freezing and slow. Yeah, that's a good example. So, like, the Flamethrower, obviously, it's fire and it's burning and, you know, it's a flamethrower. But yeah, you can switch it to cold, and then it does a freezing and a slow effect instead of a burning damage over time effect. And so you can really, really modify your attacks and kind of what you're getting to do to the way that you want. I think I modified my missiles or my missile barrage or something, and I did something with napalm that I really ended up liking, because you could get up on a boss and drop the napalm kind of on them, and then it would be underneath them, and it would do a really, really good amount of damage. Ginger has a controller guide for grocery shopping. Yeah. Ginger did do a controller guide for Lost Ark. I just checked it. Yeah. I was wrong on the poll. After seeing the classes, I will definitely be playing this game, says Striker1. Yeah, so if you haven't taken our poll yet, if you're new today, we've been doing a Lost Ark Endgame breakdown, looking at the Lost Ark gameplay video that they uploaded yesterday, and we were asking the audience, will you be playing Lost Ark when it releases? We're having a lower participation today than usual. It's strange. It's odd that the beta crushed it every time we touched it, and then the last couple times we've tried to cover this game, we have struggled. And I don't know if it's just because maybe people have made up their mind and they can't wait for the game to come out. We are planning on covering this game pretty extensively when it launches February the 11th. It is free to play, and we wanted to know from the audience, just now getting 500 votes, will you be playing Lost Ark when it releases? And it's about a 50-50 split, so about half of you are like, no, either because it's not on console or because you're not interested, or you're saying yes. We got about a straight split down the middle. I want to change my answer too. I didn't know it was free to play, and the classes all look dope. Well, then hopefully today has been informative to the core audience that may have hopefully haven't made their mind up about it yet. Then, if it's as easy as like being like, oh, it's free to play, and look at some of the classes. We'll be playing on the 8th. Yeah, that's right. We'll be playing on the 8th because we're a founder, so we'll be able to get in with the early access. Can you do a class poll? What are are there just, no, there's 5 classes, so I think we can only do 4 options when we do a poll. I think. I don't think we can do 5. Looks cool, but who has the time, says Zubair. Yeah. That's part of the challenge. That's part of the challenge, is finding time for these types of games, DLC story in June. They already have a post-launch roadmap for Dying Light. Dying Light launches February, and then in March, a series of events with Mutated Infected with a set of challenges. Oh, I'm sorry. No, March is a set of challenges. This roadmap is designed terribly. March is a set of challenges. April is a series of events and Mutated Infected. May is a set of challenges. June is the first story DLC, and they have an asterisk on it. So I don't know about that. When you are inspired, you can find time to do stuff. Yeah, for sure. They are starter packs. It says, what was Myrtle Turtle asking? Good to know. I watch a couple vids on classes, and I guess Paladin pretty much needs to be played as support. Paladin had a lot of support abilities for sure, but it looked like you could also play him pretty aggressive. You're just using the class wrongly. You dish out DPS, but less than other DPS. Paladin's great for offensive buffs and shields. Are you expecting huge queues like with the New World release? I don't know, because with the way they stagger these releases and do early access and stuff, it may not affect us that much. I don't know. I may not know. Because we're going to dive in on the 8th, and this game is going to be I think this game is going to be very, very popular. So we might not have queues on the 8th, but when it hits everywhere on the 11th, free to play, there may be queues, especially if we play, later in the day, for sure. It's par for a paladin tank, heals, buff, debuff. It's an alt-centric MMO. Most people play 3 to 4 classes. Paladin isn't a tank. Yeah, he looked like he was more like support and offense than to be a tank. It looked like he was doing like buffs and debuffs to your team and to the enemies. War Master is the tank. Okay. I'm not big on party chats. I would also run alongside you anytime. You don't need to do a whole lot of party chat in this game. I mean, we were doing dungeons on hard and not saying anything to each other. We were having a perfectly fine time. James is right. I should have said it looks cool, but Stellaris has more math, so I'm going to stick with Stellaris. There's no Holy Trinity, only flavor. All classes can stand alone, says Reckless Gambit. Yeah, I mean, from the looks of when you go to the Lost Ark website and you look at all the classes, I don't feel like that any of them would be necessarily struggling because, like, oh, this is a healing class or this is a support class. I feel like they all can do a good job on their own. I think the biggest challenge would be deciding which one you like the most. Like somebody said, it's kind of an alt-centric game where, you have to. A lot of people have like multiple characters. Like that's not that surprising. Truth be told, that we tend to approach games like this. At least I do, with sort of I'm going to make one character and that's the only character that matters, right? But I think a lot of times in games like this, people like to make multiple characters because depending on who they're playing with, or, especially once you get into the end game, once you exhaust your dailies, you boot up another character. And especially if you're playing the game like a lot, some of the activities sound like they'd go pretty quickly if you're with a good team, Party chat consists of, do you know the mechanics? You take this position, that's all, unless you're running with friends. Well, yeah, if you're running with friends, there's going to be banter, but right, it didn't seem like it was all that complicated with respect to like needing to have tons of communication, and saying it didn't seem like you're needing to be like synchronizing and timing things. It seemed like it was going to be a little bit more simplistic than, not necessarily simplistic. Like certainly it gets tough, but I do think that one of the reasons people don't like getting into party chats is because it can get cluttered, it can get stressful. You can have, sort of this feeling of like, man, everybody's kind of, not shouting, but like you get in those things and like everybody's microphones are like at different levels and stuff, and it can be pretty irritating, Somebody's breathing on their mic, somebody's eating. I'm Stellaris, but I haven't thought the time to learn and play. I like my 4x games for babies. Yeah, I can't get into some of those types of games. It just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work. What time is it? Okay. About 10 minutes. We'll schedule the next. Yeah. We don't necessarily need to be in the scene anymore. We've watched that video quite a bit. If you're new and got questions, we got a couple people in chat that are doing a really good job answering questions about Lost Ark Endgame. If you're curious about, what the Lost Ark gameplay content loop kind of looks like in the endgame, like what are you going to be doing? What are the primary things? I can break down the headings for you. There's abyssal dungeons, there's towers, there's sailing, strongholds, there's guardian raids, there's chaos dungeons, So there's a lot that you do in the end game, and a lot of it you do once you're post level 50 to fill out your skill tree, get better loot, get better gear, get your eye level up, which is your item level, and then you get resources and materials from a lot of these end game content loop events, and so then you're kind of like, you're diving in fresh to the content every day. You get like little resets that you can do with everything with respect to each day having that ability to do those little resets, those little activities. So we are getting treated pretty well today by YouTube. So everybody, if you clicked on today's video off of a suggest or a search, I really greatly appreciate it. We've had a lot of people come through today that were new off of the Lost Ark video, and so thanks for coming over. If you haven't hit subscribe, if you haven't said anything in chat, if you haven't taken our poll yet, be sure to do that. Not in this game. This game can be stressful onto itself. No one wants to complicate that with chat, right? It did seem like it was one of those things where, like, you have quite a bit going on with each individual person, Do we ever find our Lost Ark? Is there a trading post in this game? Yes, there is. One of the activities, Guardian Raids, that rewards accessories, and it drops upgrade materials that are not bound to your character, so you can give it to one of your alt characters, or you can sell it in the trade market. So all this is about a boat full of animals. Yeah, the entire game, you're trying to find Noah in the Lost Ark. That's exactly right. That's what this game is based on. That would be interesting. I think that would be an interesting decision to make the game about that. I don't think that would be that exciting, personally. Well, we found him, and then that's the end of the game. Respawn making 3 new Star Wars games for EA. Oh, that's what you guys were posting in the Discord a little bit ago. That was, you guys were talking about that. Some more gaming news hitting out there that we may or may not cover. We've been trying to cover a variety of things. If you guys aren't subscribed to our main channel, Split Screen got a video this morning about Tim the Tapman teasing an Overwatch stream, and there was also a potential announcement this week. Mike Ibarra indicating there's going to be an Overwatch, some more Overwatch news this week, and that may coincide with Tim streaming because he's helped them with announcements in the past before. So a lot of people speculating that is going to be something that happens this week. So we ran that news briefing out this morning about as quick as we could when this stuff hits. We try to keep you guys filled in. So make sure when those videos hit in the morning, if you watch them, do all the things. What if Kratos shows up? Yeah, well, if Kratos shows up, he would just sink the boat and kill the animals and make skins out of them. Like a lion-headed piece of armor or something. Is there a tutorial, specifically one that teaches you how to click with my mouse? Well, if you're being serious, one of the things that Lost Ark did really well, at least I thought, was there was sort of this Lost Ark all classes tutorial that you could do at the beginning. And what you literally do is you pick the different classes and their subclasses, and you run around a room and fiddle around with them. Now, that's how I discovered that I wanted to do the artillerist over doing the Deadeye, or what was the other one? It was Deadeye or the I forget the name of it. Deadeye or the Gunslinger. Deadeye or the Gunslinger wasn't going to work for me. It wasn't, because it was too complicated. It was hard. You're not just switching and doing different attacks. You're switching your weapons before you do the attack. So it's pretty complex. So starting character, the Deadeye, or the Gunslinger, probably not a good idea, so I went with the artillerist. Now, the reason that I was able to do that is because in the opening sort of tutorial area, I just was trying all of the different classes. And when I realized that the gunner that had like the 3 different weapons was going to be confusing and maybe even kind of frustrating, I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And so I tried some of the others, and when I tried some of the others, it went significantly better for me. I immediately felt better and more comfortable. It didn't feel awkward. It didn't feel like I was, fumbling around. And that's how I felt when I was playing the other one. I don't even know which one that I tried. It was Deadeye or Gunslinger. I think it was Gunslinger, or that I was trying. It was Deadeye or Gunslinger. It was one of the two. And people in chat were helpful. They were like, "Yeah, this is one of the more complicated, classes to play as. It can be pretty tough, to navigate, because you're having to constantly switch the weapons, and it can be a little disorienting if you're not accustomed to it. Frankly, we don't know how we lost it. It's literally big enough to hold every animal. Also, the lions ate everything. There you go. So if you're trying to figure out, like, here's the classes here. If you're trying to figure out which of these classes that you want to go with, I think they do a very good job of introducing, all of the classes in Lost Ark with respect to that opening tutorial area, just to get an idea of like, okay, this is what they're each going to look like. Now, a lot of the abilities that you're going to use when you're in that opening tutorial, like let's say you boot up off the Warrior and you're wanting to check out some Lost Ark Berserk gameplay, right? You're wanting, okay, what's he look like? So you come in and you click on you go into the Berserk. Well, you're going to be using abilities and attacks and skills that you will not have once the game gets up and running, right? So once the game gets up and running, you won't have those abilities. So it kind of lets you get a feel for what the character looks like kind of down the line, right? Not necessarily fully endgame, I don't think. But at the same time, they definitely give you that look into like what's going to look like. Dr. Disrespect says your game sucks. Microsoft's not going to save you. Yeah, Call of Duty is hurting. Is hurting for sure. Hurting for sure. At a very when you got pros and streamers walking away, that's bad. That's bad. If there's any choice, always Assassin. Yeah, I mean, we can't do a poll of the 5 that you could choose from. So, like, unfortunately, the polls in chat, we can only do 4 options. So we can't do 4. I'm sorry, we can't do more than 4. Or I would do a poll just to feel like, okay, where would everybody land here? Warrior, martial artist, gunner, mage, or assassin, just to kind of see where everybody in chat is leaning. But unfortunately, you can't. When we do those in chat polls, they only have 4 options to choose from. And right now we have a poll at the top of the chat, just asking a very basic question: will you be playing Lost Ark when it releases? 527 votes, 53% saying yes, and 47% saying no. So pretty much split right down the middle. The only option is to do a poll with Assassin as all 4 choices. Yeah, the Assassin is pretty cool. I thought the Shadow Hunter looked very, very dope. The Deathblade's pretty cool too, like, turning into like a demon and different stuff. We could do a straw poll. I don't want to do a straw poll. That drives people out of the stream. That's a bad idea. Can you show the mage subclasses again? I missed some of them. There's only 2. The mage has the bard and the sorceress. So the bard, she uses like music and musical notes and stuff like that. And then the sorceress is, as you would expect, more a pretty classic caster that can do all the different things. So there's 2 of the mage, and then there's 2 of the assassin. The assassin's got the Shadow Hunter and the Deathblade. The gunner's got 4. I think 4 is the most. Yeah, 4 subclasses for the martial artist, the gunner, and then 3 for the warrior. So the martial artist and the gunner each have 4, and then mage and assassin have 2. and then the warrior has 3. Bard for sure, gonna sing people to death. Yeah, I mean, you can do it. You can sing people to death if you'd like. Mage is definitely, if I were to play. I choose to not be possessed usually. Channeling inner demon seems like a bad idea. Well, the attack looks crazy cool, so it'd be, I'd have a hard time. I'd have a hard time not doing that if that was my character. I only got to play as the artillerist. People were like wanting me to try out the other classes, but generally, I just wanted to keep leveling my artillerist to see how well or how strong the different attacks could get. Been 2 months since I posted a video on my YouTube channel. Thrilled that I'm going to be making videos again. Help business. Okay. Some just isn't in our version and haven't come out yet. Yeah, it did seem like that they had made adjustments for the North American version of the game, as in like there is sort of a they're changing some of the opening default armor. They've gotten rid of some of the starting classes as well, as wanting to maybe adjust microtransactions like a little bit. So it'll be. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see just how much they modify going forward, comparing the original launch version, the Korean version, to the American Western version. You can also check out the RU version if you have a VPN. It's free to play and easy to install. Yeah, I won't be doing that. I don't like doing VPN to get access to things that aren't in my region. I tend to avoid that. I'm not against it. Like if that's something that you're comfortable doing, everybody's different, obviously. I don't think it's wrong, but I definitely don't endorse it and encourage people to do it, just because there may be things in TOSs about that, and we're not really supposed to, as content creators, encourage people to subvert a TOS. And so that's something that we try to be careful with here. Every game that has those region locks, and like Netflix has region locks and stuff, I'm sure there's reasons for it, and there's contractual things tied to it. And so I try to be careful with that. We try to not. I don't really encourage people to do that sort of thing. Obviously, those are some of your technological options. If that's something that you like, want to try. But this launches soon enough that I don't feel the need to do that. How many classes did they take out from the game, going from the Russian or the Korean version? How many classes have they taken out comparatively between the two? I'm actually curious about that. Yo, what's good, Dennis? How are you? Welcome in. Having everyone speak Russian would ruin the social aspect. For sure. Make it hard to communicate, But again, we played the one day and we didn't really do any communication. And we played just fine. There was a Destro, a Summoner, and Arcana. So they've taken 3 classes out of the game. Okay. Man-at-Arms takes up the challenge to forge a massive sword wielded by the Berserker. Watch the first of a 3-part series as the team brings fictional weaponry into real life. So, AWE Me is AWE Me. What does that stand for? Is that an Amazon channel? This episode is sponsored by Amazon Games and Lost Ark. What's AWE Me? What's that stand for? Oh, they have a bunch of things. They have Cosplay Shop, the Prop Shop, Man at Arms Reforged, Epic How To, and Super Gamer Builds. So they're actually forging one of the weapons if you want to check that out. Lost Ark on Twitter just tweeted that out recently if you're into that kind of content. Yo, what's good, Smokeback? How are you? Oh, we need to schedule the next. I just realized what time it is. There is an update coming to Halo today as well as next season, and we are covering that today, and then at Reset we'll obviously check it out. Let's go in here, paste that in. No. Yeah. Let's see. No, that's not what I need. There we go. So we do 2 shows a day here on this channel. If you've enjoyed this morning, I am a Safe for Work broadcaster, so I make it really easy for you to throw me on in the background like video game radio. If you've enjoyed the coverage, make sure you are subscribed. I'll be in your sub feed all week with good variety gaming news coverage. If you're interested in Lost Ark, we will be playing it quite a bit when it comes out. We did play it a lot when the beta came out, and we had a lot of great support for that, for those gameplay streams. Let's see. There we go. And the release date of Lost Ark is fast approaching. The Lost Ark release date is February the 11th, free to play. We will be playing it on February the 8th because we are a founder and we have that early access that we'll be able to enjoy. Make this a public stream. What are you doing? There you go. Let's see. There we go. Get that scheduled. Save this image. Close that. Close that. And there we go. And then we will redirect. We'll be going over there in a little bit, probably in about a half an hour. We do have the ability to redirect you over there. If the redirect doesn't work, I will provide you with a link. We're not doing that just yet. I was just getting that stream ready to go. There is an update to the Halo Infinite store hitting today, and then there's also a pretty big update coming next season that we'll be covering. We'll be covering both of those. So I was curious, are you going to play Zenith, the VR MMO? No, I don't have a strong desire to play VR games. I don't have any VR equipment. I don't really think VR is ever going to be in a great space for live streaming for somebody like me. I think there are people that live stream it to lots of success. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee like 20 minutes ago. I am so sorry. A light roast and a dark roast to I Feel to Despair. Thank you so much, I feel like that's your first order. Are you here? I'm sorry I didn't call that out about 20 minutes ago. We are working on getting some alerts for the channel that would include when you order coffee. And so that is something that we are 100% looking into, and we hope to have that for you very, very soon. We don't like having to rely on the email thing. So sometimes when you order coffee, we don't call it out, and so I apologize for that. If you ever order something from 80s Tees or Displate, also feel free to let me know. We want to keep those sponsors happy, and we should have a new sponsor to announce once we get into February. It's just taking a little bit of time to get the order processed for that announcement so that I have something to show you when we make that announcement. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that was good. Nintendo Switch OLED White is available for order on Amazon. It's back up on Amazon. It goes up frequently if you're still looking for one. So if you're looking for a Nintendo Switch OLED White, it's on Amazon right now for $350. If that is something that you have been looking for. Just scrolling through gaming news to see if anything is going on. Anything breaking. Huge gaming and esports news shortly, according to Jake. Drink your wa, drink your ka, he says. Have you tried Century Age of Ashes? I'm just asking on some not-so-hyped games. No, I don't really have the time or the luxury to, like, check out lesser-known games. Like, we're not in that position. If you're, like, a really big and well-known YouTuber, especially if you've kind of niched down into MMO, you kind of have that luxury. You can be like, hey, let's go check out, you know, this other lesser-known game. We were very excited about Lost Ark when we first started looking into it, and then when we played it, it was amazing. And so we're anticipating it being a very, very, you know, good game to dive into and cover. But when you get into lesser-known games, it just doesn't work. Like, I don't know what kind of a week you guys think I have, but I mean, I work probably 80 to 90 hours a week. Like, I don't play games that I enjoy. I don't have time. My leisurely gaming is in spurts on the weekend with my kiddos as they play through like Lego Marvel or something and they need help. I just don't have time. So we're not in a position to just be like, hey, let's go check out some random or lesser known MMO. It's just not possible. You know, we are working on a project right now that we hope to have launched in February that will enable me to give you like really, really, you know, quick looks at newer games or indie games and stuff like we used to. If you remember when we were uploading those gameplay videos, you know, hey, check out the first 15 or 30 minutes or whatever of these games. We are working on that project right now because we would like to have a place to put that, but this channel just doesn't work for that. Like, I can't do that. Like, we can't even play games for long periods of time. Once we get to part 3 or 4, the support just kind of drops off. We very much have niched down into more conversational, more talk show, and even then, today, the core audience did not take an interest in this topic. Now, we met a ton of new people, which is amazing. That's always exciting. But one of the challenges is when you do what we've done is you start niching down in the games and covering them, and people tend to show up for that coverage, which is a good thing, right? We have tons of people that only show up on Friday for From Fridays, or they only show up if we're talking Elden Ring. We have people that only show up if we're talking Halo. That's actually really, really good. But what that means is that I can't be like, let's check out an obscure game, because it just we're not gonna draw in, you know, people with that, generally speaking. In a year, maybe that's different. You know, maybe we're in a different position in a year because we have a much broader support base, so we can kind of indulge those things as a luxury, you know. Ashes of Creation is another one we've been looking at. We've covered it a few times, and I think we've covered it once, maybe twice. So we've tried to, you know, branch out and cover stuff when we think it is worthwhile. So obscure, you're so hurtful. He said it was lesser known. I mean, I'm just using words. Probably Lono for a couple of sessions of therapy. They were just about you. Yeah, no. Ashes has the potential to flip the industry on its head. Yeah, maybe. I made predictions in a video about this year. I made predictions about, you know, this year, and I think the rise of the MMO is what's around the corner. That's what I think. I think MMOs are going to be more prevalent going forward. And I don't just think the rise of the MMO. I think the rise of like the rise of mid-lane MMOs is what's on the rise. So like MMOs that you can play more hobbyist. Because I don't think so. This is kind of a theory that I have. I think a lot of the people that cut their teeth on EverQuest and World of Warcraft and RuneScape and these others, they're playing for 6 to 12 hours a day. They're carving out 1/4 to half of the day purely playing an MMO. I think a lot of those people are still looking to play MMOs and looking to play those games. However, I think they don't quite have that time anymore, right? Because a lot of the guys that used to do that, they're now in their late 20s, early 30s, maybe their early 40s, and they're like, I can't play like that anymore. Like I want to play an MMO, but I can give you a couple hours a night. I can get home from work, after dinner, put the kids to bed, and I can play your game for a couple of hours, right? And I think the player bases are shifting in that direction. So I think MMOs are going to face a particular challenge. They're going to have to create inroads of accessibility and have playtime requirements that aren't so high. However, you want to create that depth in the end game, which is where I think Lost Ark is going to do very well. I think Lost Ark is going to be great for people that just want to play casually, because it's got a very, very fun, casual content loop. You're just running around doing cool attacks and leveling and everything else. But the end game is expansive, and there's lots to do. Beyond that, even if you get one character all the way to where you want them in Lost Ark, I mean, you make another and have a completely different experience. I mean, just today we looked at all these classes. I mean, there's 3 different classes of warrior, very different. Each one very different. Same thing with the gunner, like 4 different gunner classes. And so this is what I think most MMOs that are successful, that's what they're going to focus on. They're going to focus on having sort of like two sides to the game. Having a side where you can play casually, you can plug away a couple hours a day, not really having to you're not really having to, throw your entire life into upheaval in order to enjoy it. And then for the hardcore players, from the Lost Ark Endgame video that we looked at today and kind of did a breakdown of, if you're looking for that breakdown, it's at the beginning of this stream. To me, when I looked at that, it was like, this is what like hardcore players are wanting. Now, if you compare this to what New World did, New World got the core gameplay elements right. It looks good, it sounds good, it's enjoyable to be in the game, right? It's generally just enjoyable to be in New World, right? However, you get to the end game and it gets super, super narrow. You're either running a couple of expeditions or you're running like elite chest farms, right? Now, they've gotten better with their end game. They've recently added mutators to the expeditions. They've recently made adjustments to the end game gear grind with expertise and all these different things. But generally speaking, I think that's where New World kind of, that's where they fumbled the ball. They fumbled the ball with respect to the end game grind by making it too narrow. And that was why I asked earlier, I asked the people in chat that were like experienced with the Lost Ark Endgame. I said, okay, you've got Chaos Dungeons, Guardian Raids, the Tower, Abyssal Dungeons, Void, what are they, Void Raid or Void Dungeons? And then you've got, Sailing Strongholds, you got your workshop, your headquarters system, and all of that. So I said, does it get too narrow? Are you doing too much of the same thing in the end game? And they said, no, not really. So that was obviously one of my primary concerns with it. Is it going to turn into what New World turned into? Is like, oh yay, I'm so excited to play this, this game. You get to the end game, and like all games, right? You get to the end game and it tends to thin out. The Smugglers coming soon. First trailer revealed. It actually looks really, really good. So it's a co-op game, and it looks really fun. It's a co-op heist story. The Smugglers is a co-op game by Eon46. Is heading to Steam. Connect with your friends, work towards a common goal, or try to interrupt their schemes. It actually looks kind of fun. Forgive my ignorance, but can I get 30 seconds on the history of this franchise? I have no idea. Okay, so Lost Ark released in the Korean and Russian market, I don't even know when. Years ago. I don't know the exact time. But it has been very successful. It is very popular, and they've done expansive content, like they've added to it and done different things that you're not necessarily going to have access to at the very, very beginning. And now it's coming to the West. So it is a MMO ARPG. So it's sort of a top-down dungeon crawling 4 years ago. There you go. It is free to play. You can play it free to play February 11th. If you're a founder and you've paid for the founders packs, you can start playing on February the 8th. Player expectation has changed drastically over the years, and I need to be able to do everything within a few hours, and it makes me so sad. Long, epic quests that take days, weeks feels amazing when you complete it. As long as the journey isn't mindless grinding, but more interesting than that, a long journey will always feel best. I don't necessarily think you can state that so objectively. Certainly that's your preference, but I don't think that that's necessarily been a change in players. I think that is I think it's like that's a human trait, right? Is you want a sense of progress to be more readily traceable and measurable, and I think that's really hard if you drag out a quest over weeks and months. You know what I mean? There are 6 subclasses for Lost Ark that won't be available in the North American version at launch. 6 subclasses. Now, were those 6 subclasses added later, Dylan? Do you think they're just going to add them as like DLC? The cheapest founders pack is $15 if I recall. With Dying Light 2 coming out, I don't know if I can bite into Lost Ark. I mean, 500 hours to beat the whole game is a lot of time. I don't know if we're going to be checking out the Lost Ark, I'm sorry, the Dying Light 2 launch date. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's something that we'll be able to do. We may do it just for a play session, like just to have the gameplay, just to check it out, because it is a pretty popular game, but I don't know. We're not going to be able to do much with it, you know? We're not going to be able to do much with it, I wouldn't think. I can see that for our generation. We're all old now, and we have life things to do. Yeah, I don't think it's as simple as being like long, drawn-out quests are better. I don't think it's that simple. It seems like it'd be hard to squeeze it into February's schedule. I mean, one afternoon session, I think, is about all we would be able to do. Which, I mean, that's value, you know. As someone who doesn't always have a lot of time, I appreciate the idea of, like, MMO Lite, because it makes it more friendly to play, but I think it should be a mix for hardcore players who want to grind. And I think Lost Ark gives you that, personally. I think you can play Lost Ark very casually and enjoy yourself. I did. How many play sessions did we do? We did 4 or 5 play sessions, each day playing for about 2.5 hours, and I enjoyed my time. I really, really did. I enjoyed doing dungeons on hard. I enjoyed questing and fetching and roaming around the world and unlocking new areas. I thought it was very enjoyable. For me, there's just too many good games that have tons of potential time investment to get into another game as service, even if I liked top-down. Right. I mean, there's a lot coming in February, so it makes perfect sense for people to say, listen, that's not really my bag. That's not really something I can get into, because you're looking at Forbidden West, you're looking at Elden Ring, you're looking at Witch Queen, and you're saying, I don't think I have time for any of this. Do a lot of these MMOs have power systems similar to Destiny? Like, you lose all your power after a few months and need to regrind? Somebody in chat that has played this version in the Korean or Russian market would have to field that question. I don't know if that's how they've treated the power in this game up to this point. Like, have they done that? Have they, given it that same treatment of, hey, you got to be stronger now. Hey, you got to be stronger now. That kind of a thing. You want a goal that takes a long time to accomplish, go buy a house. Item leveling? Yeah, there is item level, and you can get materials to increase item level, for sure. You can casually play Lost Ark or be hardcore and min-max with farming gold and mats with alts and funneling it into your main. Yeah, because you have limited amount of things you can do each day, so you have alts to do it all. That's right, multiple times. Consider this. Put in a cheat code and hit max level and have all the best items right away. You'll probably feel amazing for a few hours. Put in real effort and the payoff will feel better. Yeah, but you're creating a false dichotomy that doesn't exist. Just because people want to play a game that has relatively quick progression or dopamine hits of a sense of achievement doesn't mean they want to put in a cheat code to have a max level character with all the best items. You're comparing two realities that don't make any sense. It's not like I can choose between slowly leveling in a game like New World, for example. Slowly leveling or entering a cheat code and I'm max level. Well, obviously, when I went into the PTR, I got that experience, right? I had a max level character, I had all this endgame loot, and I was really, really strong. It was to test out the new stuff. So, but that's not generally what people are asking for. People aren't saying, oh, please give me everything right away. It comes down to basic psychology, instant gratification versus delayed gratification. Well, but it's more complex than that. You have to have micro grinds and macro grinds, and the guy from Diablo's Loot 2.0 system talked about this. You have to protect players from themselves, because if they figure out they can run in a 10-foot circle and they can get everything right away and really quickly, they're going to do that. Like, human instinct is to take the path of least resistance because that's related to our survival instinct and how we get things done. It's how we make advances in technology. It's why, air travel and road travel is significantly faster and more efficient than it used to be, right? So I think that human instinct is to try to take the path of least resistance. The trick as a game developer is to create micro grinds and macro grinds. So if you play for 2 hours, you can still get a sense of accomplishment instead of being like, oh, I slightly chiseled away against this 2-week long grind. You absolutely can choose. There are games that let you buy XP potions, XP boosts, or friend referrals. You again are completely exaggerating and misrepresenting reality to make your point, which makes your argumentation weak. You're not arguing, you're not dealing in reality. Just because I can buy XP potions and XP boosts does not mean I can cheat code my way all the way to the end. And some people, to be quite honest, get more satisfaction out of getting to the end game quickly because they understand that that's where the meat is, that's where the grind is, that's where the slow progress is. They're slowly getting materials. There's things that are time gated. There's things that are daily limited or weekly limited. There's only so many places they can go. There's only so many items that can drop. And there are people that would happily get there quicker because they see the early game grind as superfluous. So it's value measurement subjective to the player and what they enjoy, right? So sure, you may get a greater sense of satisfaction out of slowly playing through the early game. And I'm like that. I like the early game grind. I enjoy it very much. I think some of the greatest times in a game is when you're in the early stages and everything that drops matters. Every level is exciting. Every dopamine hit feels like you're climbing the ladder. And there are people that are 100% different than me. They're like, I don't want to do that. I want to get to the end game. I want to have 4 characters, grinding the end game, doing the dailies, getting the mats, leveling my stuff, and getting stronger. Everybody is cut differently. And so if you don't have a healthy mix of early game micro grinds that give you a sense of satisfaction and achievement, and also a healthy mix of long-term, long-tail macro grinds, if you don't have a healthy mix of those two, you're not going to land on both types of players. Wheezy's like, I don't give a crap about the early game grind. Right, there are plenty of people that don't want to do that. They have zero interest in that. They would much rather just jump hop, skip over, and get to the end game. So you can't say, oh, it's just basic human psychology, delayed gratification is better, so people should be happier to take a longer time or whatever. Like, everyone's different. So there are people that would hear what you're saying and be like, yes, that's exactly right. I agree with you, Corey. I like taking things slow and just enjoying the ride. And then there'd be somebody else sitting right next to them and be like, no, that sounds friggin' terrible. I don't want to do that. So, and even still, if you shortcut or if you, what's it called? You optimize the fun out of the early game. You just go for the absolute fastest way to level as possible, okay? That isn't necessarily like, oh, I'm already endgame, I'm max. It still is going to take some time. You know, even the people that absolutely blitz grinding, leveling and grinding in New World, even those guys, it took them, what, a week and a half to get to max level? It still took a chunk of time. And to max a bunch of characters out in Lost Ark and get them endgame ready, that's not going to be something you can do relatively quickly. It's going to take time. You know, you're not going to be able to do that overnight. It certainly isn't the push of a button. That's why I took issue with your exaggeration. It's like, well, you're not really comparing things that are possible. There isn't a take it slow and enjoy everything or press a button and you're in the end game. Even if you spend money and XP boost your way to the end game in Lost Ark, you're generally going to probably want to do that a couple more times with more characters to maximize the opportunities for drops, right? I don't think people care about early game anymore because games aren't designed around meaningful early game. I'm not sure why. Maybe the industry-driven or maybe player-driven, chicken or the egg. It's tough to measure. I think a really good example of what you're talking about is Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3's early game leveling and the first playthrough, it is absolutely just sucky terrible. They expected everybody to beeline to the end game, and that's all they focused on. So, I was talking about Lost Ark, and that's what today's stream is about? No. You're speaking from a philosophical perspective, Corey, which is totally fine, because there are people that will approach Lost Ark from the realm, in the realm of what you're talking about. That's 100% a thing. Definitely. That is how a lot of people will treat the game. They'll be like, well, no, I want to do, you know, I want to do the end game stuff. I don't want to do all this early game stuff. You know, there are plenty of people that will take that approach. You're not misrepresenting gamers. I think you just oversimplified it. You made it sound like, well, it's better to have a long-term drawn-out grind. It's more satisfying. It's probably not more satisfying to everybody. It's more satisfying to some. I can give an example in my own gaming experiences when I played through it was Ark Survival Evolved. I first got involved with Ark Survival Evolved, and I was enjoying the slow, very, very, you know, piece by piece, you know, I guess you could call it a power fantasy, slowly getting stronger and better in Ark Survival Evolved. Chopping down trees, building a little hut, and getting more things from my hut later, okay? And I came back like after a day or two, and the guys that I had been playing with, they had just no life to the game. They had an oven to cook food. They had this big, huge house. They had this compound for dinosaurs and stuff. And I was like, but I didn't earn any of this. I was like, you guys did all this. I didn't do any of this. I don't understand. Like, that's not satisfying. And so I was like, listen, I'm gonna go off on my own. Like, I don't have access to all this stuff. It's not something that I've earned. I wanted to go through the slow, sort of methodical grind of, you know, chopping the trees down and getting enough trees to build this. And then now that I've got this, I have to hit rocks. And then after I build this, now I got to build this next thing. And just continue to have that slow, you know, leveling iteration feel. And unfortunately, it kind of ruined my experience. Enjoy the launch trailer for the new free-to-play, old-school Baldur's Gate-inspired MMORPG Broken Ranks. When's that coming out? Do they have a launch date? The launch trailer. They have... Why won't you let me fast forward? You know what? Forget you, IGN. I'll watch it later. I just wanted to fast forward to the end to see if there was a launch date. I think the addition of boosters that are pay for does not make it pay to win. It really just helps speedrunners get to where they need to be. Well, yeah, I mean, I think in general too, there's an acceptable amount of like pay to not play. You know what I'm saying? I think there's an acceptable amount of pay to not play. Like if people want to spend their money to not play, I mean that's kind of their prerogative, you know. It says play now at the end. So Broken Ranks is out right now. When did it? So did it just come out? Is it on Steam? Where do you even play it? I've not heard anything about it. It's a Baldur's Gate style. Broken Ranks. It's not in Steam. Broken Ranks launch is January 25th. Well, that's today. Do you have to like get it from their official site or something? Because I'm not seeing it in Steam. I'm not seeing it. So I don't know if they've got a particular launcher or something like that. Burned myself out on GTA 5. Don't really care about the next one. However, I love Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Online, and wish they would do more for Red Dead Online. Yeah, Red Dead Online, wasn't there like a hashtag trending like save Red Dead Online or something for a while there? People were pretty dissatisfied with how it was being handled. I'd give Red Dead a shot when it's 60 FPS. Yeah. What footage do we want to run with today? Yeah, we'll run this one for the Halo, for our Halo coverage. Okay. Red Dead 2 fishing was the best. I didn't even need a pole to fish. Oh, look, a button. Unwound admin with 2 months of membership over here. Thank you very much, Unwound, for doing that. If you guys want to consider supporting the channel directly, you can click the $ at the bottom of chat, and you can send a tip. You can become a member. We need 14 more likes for 300 likes, so smash a like button if you haven't already. It's free to subscribe, and it's free to hit like. Those are free ways to support. We do multiple talk shows a day all throughout the week. We are going to be shifting gears here in a little bit to a Halo Infinite store update that's launching today, as well as a big update that's coming next season to the Halo Infinite store and how it's going to work. Register on our website to create a game account and stay up to date with important news, registration, and download. So you do it right from their website. I guess we could cover that tomorrow. If we feel like it's pulling. BrokenRanks.com is the name of the website. Zubair with an entire year and a tier 2. Oh, look, I got one too. What a glorious day. Team Dark Roast, Team Kit Kat. That's my man right there. Installing Broken Ranks. Yeah, their website is apparently crashing. I can't get to it. I can't get to it. It's just spinning. It's just spinning, man. They must have a ton of people hitting their servers. Probably good to try tomorrow if their website can't even stay up under the weight, the sweet embrace of love that the internet is giving them right now. A sweet embrace of love. Oh, I play games to experience other worlds. GTA is just playing in a modern setting. It's not interesting to me. Yeah, it is interesting how that can happen. Like, modern games can feel almost a little bit boring. You know what I mean? Looks like it had mobile in mind. The launcher looks dope. It does kind of look dope. Yeah. Took a while for me, says Unwound, but it loaded. Yeah, I've got like a spinner now. Okay, here we go. Launches on the 25th. I was going to try and do their... Oh, yeah. Available on Windows, soon coming to iOS, Android, and Mac. Yeah. So it looks like this game is going to be a multi-platform MMO, which we've talked about that recently, how I think that MMOs that can land on both PC console and mobile would be huge. Error 502. Yeah, the host is just having all kinds of problems. I can't even register. We're out to check that out later. It is just not happening right now. Did you guys see that somebody who used to work for World of Warcraft building quests got hired by Epic to work on Fortnite? Did you guys see that news? Adding a little bit more to my theory that Fortnite's working on a Fortnite MMORPG. Telling you, baby. I'm telling you, it's coming. It could be literally the biggest MMO because it could hit every single platform, every console, PC, and mobile. Like, literally. Every console, PC, and mobile. Just nuts. I think you're going to nope out here, says Barrier. Our unique combat system has been praised by enthusiasts of both turn-based and action games. Players plan their movements at the same time and have only 10 seconds to do so. When creating your character, you have 7 classes to choose from: Barbarian, Archer, Sheed, Druid, Voodoo Shaman, Fire Mage, or Knight. Each of them uses their own set of unique abilities. When playing by yourself, you will certainly experience the tactical depth of our combat system. While playing with others, you will fully appreciate various relationships between classes and unique combinations. Not enough in disk space. Not enough in. Will it be on the Samsung fridges? Real gamers game on the fridge. That's right. That's right. Will you be reviewing Wordle? I downloaded the knockoff called Puzzword. Called Puzzword in the mobile app. You know, I was bored. I was bored with it after like a day, because Puzzword, they were literally picking words that you wouldn't know if it was a word when you saw it. It was freaking stupid. It was obnoxious. It was like I was having to use Google to figure it out. I was like, what the frick? They were picking, I think they intentionally picked super obscure words for Puzzword. I was like, this is irritating. Like, you intentionally chose extremely oddly spelled words. I didn't like it. I got annoyed. It did it to me like 2 or 3 words in a row. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with your game. I know everybody's fascinated with Wordle, and they tweet out their little green boxes and yellow boxes on Twitter, so somebody calling out Ginger because he can't pronounce all the pronunciations in New World. Yeah. I didn't know how to say Eternum for the longest time because it's spelled very weirdly. Spelled very strangely. Do something. I don't know. Seeing if we have any other gaming news things hitting. Star Wars Battlefront 3 isn't happening as EA silos Star Wars at Respawn. Are you serious? Star Wars deal with Electronic Arts isn't what it once was. It's not totally fizzling out. Battlefield developer DICE will not be making a new Star Wars Battlefront game, according to people familiar with the announcement. But Respawn's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel will come out at the current situation, a survivor. In fact, EA is moving all Star Wars games over to the Apex Legends studio. Well, that might be good for a split screen update. That might be good for a split screen update because that's more developer publisher level. That's pretty big though that EA is handing Star Wars over to Respawn. That's welcome news, I would think, to a lot of people. I would think. Pedal to the metal. Elgato is introducing a Stream Deck pedal. Really? There's a Rabbids series heading to Netflix next month, like the Raving Rabbids. Okay. All right. Let's shift some gears here. What about Titanfall 3? Could be bad news for that. Could be bad news for that. That is true. Could be. Let's see. Have you purchased any items in the Halo Infinite store? Poll. Yes? No. Get the tweets going. We are switching gears, folks. There is an update coming to Halo. Have you purchased any items in the Halo Infinite store? Tweet all. Let's send an announcement. That's where we are going. Let me end the poll. Close that. Open that. Just in case live redirect doesn't work, there's a link in chat that'll bring you with us. Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is going to be another episode of SNTR Gaming News covering the Halo Infinite store items update. There's an update hitting today, January 25th. We will check it out in-game. It's going to go live in about an hour into the broadcast. There's also a big update coming next season with respect to credits. So if you like these types of videos, breakdowns, and live streams, hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss my live streams. We are going to bring everybody